The second regular session of Amina 35 na Kongreso Manhoban Guahan, the 35th Guam Youth Congress, is hereby called to order. Floor Leader Paz of GIGO, you are now recognized on your motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Notwithstanding House rules, I move that we resolve into the Committee of the Whole to receive the representative-elect from Guam High School and administer the oath of office to the duly elected member.
Mr. Masi, on that motion, are there any objections? Hearing or seeing none, the motion is carried. The Kongreso Manhoban Guahan is now resolved into a Committee of the Whole. The Kongreso Manhoban Guahan has received formal communication from Ilihas Laturon Guahan certifying the results of the October 2025 special elections and recognizing the individual from Guam High School as their duly elected representative to this body. I now call on the floor leader to announce the representative-elect.
Mr. Speaker, the following individual has been certified as a duly elected representative of the 35th Guam Youth Congress. Representative-elect Luis Manuel Angulo of Guam High School.
Thank you, Mr. Floor Leader. Will the representative-elect please raise his right hand and repeat after me? I solemnly swear in the presence of Almighty God that I will well and faithfully support the Constitution of the United States, the laws of the United States applicable to Guam, and the laws of Guam, and that I will conscientiously and impartially discharge my duties as a representative of the Guam Youth Congress. So help me God. Congratulations. All right, Floor Leader Paz of GIGO, you are recognized on your motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Being that the committee has completed its purpose, I move that we rise from the Committee of the Whole and report back into regular session.
Thank you, Mr. Floor Leader. On the motion, are there any objections? Hearing or seeing none, the motion is carried. The Youth Congress is called back into regular session. I now call upon Assistant Floor Leader Guerrero of Deredo to lead the prayer, followed by the singing of our national anthem by Floor Leader Paz of GIGO, the singing of the Guam hymn in Samoro by Vice Speaker Atoygui of Tumuning Tuman Harmon, and Representative Charfris of Manila to lead the Inifresi. Colleagues, please rise.
Let us bow our head in prayer. In the name of the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit. Heavenly Father, we thank you for gathering us here today and for the opportunity to serve. We are grateful for the young leaders seated in this chamber, for their willingness to step forward, to learn, and to take on the responsibility of representing their peers and their communities. Grant us wisdom as we deliberate, clarity as we speak, and humility as we listen. Let us lead with integrity, compassion, and respect, remembering that every voice carries value and every decision carries weight. Guide us to act not for recognition, but for the greater good of Guam. Help us to remain grounded in service, mindful of our island's history, and hopeful for its future. When discussions become difficult, grant us patience. When discussions are uncertain, grant us courage. We ask your blessing over us, our village, our families, our schools, and all those who support us along this journey. May our effort today plant seeds of positive change for generations to come. Above all, remind us that leadership is not about power, but about service, and that even small actions done with purpose and heart can make a lasting difference. We offer this prayer with gratitude and hope. In the name of the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight. What so proudly we, excuse me. O'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave? Oh, the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Fanogi chamoru purita nota kanta matu no nagi toru ilugar padari honra padai gloria abiba es la sempada padari honra padari gloria abiba es la sempada utodu I tempo I pas Parahita zangin ni langit na bendition. Kodrai piligru nafan sofuham zuas puteye slangwan. Kodrai piligru nafan sofuham zuas puteye slangwan.
Gini mastakilo gihina sokku, imastakilum gi coraçonu, zani mas figo na ni nacional, hu oferecen mais azu para bai protei, zani hu defendi, I enengi, I cultura, I linguagem, I airi, I hanum zani tanu chamoru. Ni en sokku da retsu gini azul stata, estio fitma gi hilu I Biblia, zani bendiahu I benderenguahan.
Colleagues, please be seated. I now call upon our clerk of the Youth Congress, Ms. Julianne Laxmana, to conduct the first roll call.
Representative Al Cairo of Simon Sanchez High School. Representative Al Cairo absent. Representative Angulo of Guam High School. Representative Angelo present. Vice Speaker Otogui of Tumuning Tuman Harmon. Vice Speaker Otogui present. Representative Balbastro of Hagat. Representative Balbastro present. Representative Blas of Chalan Pago Ordot. Representative Blas present. Representative Kalimlim of Okudu High School. Representative Kalimlim present. Representative Cha of Mongmong Toto Mighty. Representative Cha present. Representative Sharfers of Mangilao. Representative Sharfers present. Representative Cruz of Father Dueñas Memorial School. Representative Cruz absent. Representative Cruz of Simon Sanchez High School. Representative Cruz absent. Representative Dela Cruz of the University of Guam. Representative Dela Cruz absent. Representative Fernandez of Notre Dame High School. Representative Fernandez present. Speaker Fortuno of Dededo. Speaker Fortuno present. Assistant Floor Leader Guerrero of Dededo. Assistant Floor Leader Guerrero present. Representative Hoffman of Sinahanya. Representative Hoffman present. Representative Imbat of Okudu High School. Representative Imbat present. Representative Kim of Harvest Christian Academy. Representative Kim absent. Representative Cody Yim Plackle of Tumuning Tumon Harmon. Representative Cody Yim Plackle of Tumuning Tumon Harmon absent. Representative Leon Guerrero of Academy of Our Lady of Guam. Representative Leon Guerrero present. Representative Liu of Dededo. Representative Liu present. Representative Munoz of John F. Kennedy. Representative Munoz present. Representative Ng of Jotnya. Representative Ng absent. Representative O of Maleso. Representative O present. Floor Leader Paz of Jigo. Floor Leader Paz present. Representative Pobletti of Chalan-Pago Ordot. Representative Pobletti present. Representative Puzon of Barragata. Representative Puzon present. Representative Rosario of Business and Technology Academy Charter School. Representative Rosario absent. Representative Santos of Tumuning Tumon Harmon. Representative Santos absent. Representative Santos of the University of Guam. Representative Santos absent. Representative Suba of John F. Kennedy. Representative Suba present. Representative Sa of St. John's High School. Representative Sa absent. Representative Teodosio of the University of Guam. Representative Teodosio present. Representative Yang of Manilao. Representative Yang present. Mr. Speaker, you have quorum.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Floor Leader Paz of Jigo, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move to excuse members not present and voting for this session.
Thank you. There's been a motion by Floor Leader Paz of Jigo to excuse all members not present and voting for this session. Are there any objections? Hearing or seeing none, the motion is carried. Floor Leader Paz of Jigo, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move to approve the Legislative Journal of the Youth Congress dated December 13th, 2025.
Thank you, Mr. Floor Leader. On the motion, are there any objections? Hearing or seeing none, the motion is carried. The Legislative Journal of the Youth Congress dated December 13, 2025 is hereby approved. We are now on agenda item number 8, communications and petitions. Mr. Floor Leader, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. At this time, there are no communications and petitions submitted to the 35th Guam Youth Congress, and I move that we waive this agenda item.
Thank you, Mr. Floor Leader. On the motion to waive agenda item number 8, communications and petitions, are there any objections? Hearing or seeing none, the motion is carried. We are now on agenda item number 9, messages from Imagahagan Guahan and Elias Laturan Guahan. Mr. Floor Leader, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, there are no messages from Imagahagan Guahan, the Governor of Guam, and Laturan Guahan, the Guam Legislature, and I move that we waive this agenda item.
On the motion to waive agenda item number 9, messages from Imagahagan Guahan, the Governor of Guam, and Elias Laturan Guahan, the Guam Legislature, are there any objections? Hearing or seeing none, the motion is carried. We are now on agenda item number 10, reports of standing committees. Floor Leader Paz, you are recognized at this time.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I move to accept and append to today's Legislative Journal all reports of standing committees submitted as of January 24th, 2026, and to waive agenda item number 11, reports of select committees, as there are no reports submitted at this time.
Thank you, Mr. Floor Leader. On the motion, are there any objections? Hearing or seeing none, the motion is carried. We are now on agenda item number 12, the introduction and first reading of bills and resolutions. Mr. Floor Leader, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I move that bills number 28-35 COR through 30-35 COR, resolutions number 21-35 COR through 26-35 COR be deemed to have their first reading.
Thank you, Mr. Floor Leader. On the motion, are there any objections? Hearing or seeing none, the motion is carried. The aforementioned bills and resolutions shall be deemed to have been introduced and first read by this body. With no other business under agenda item number 12, we are now on agenda item number 13, the consideration of motions. Do any representatives wish to make a motion? Floor Leader Paz of Jigo, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. There is a vacancy in the position of Legislative Secretary for the 35th Guam Youth Congress. At this time, I move that we open the floor to accept nominations for this position.
Thank you, Mr. Floor Leader. On a motion to open the floor to accept nominations for the position of Legislative Secretary, are there any objections? Hearing or seeing none, the motion is carried. The floor is now open for nominations to the position of Legislative Secretary. Are there any representatives wishing to make a nomination for the position of Legislative Secretary? Representative Kalimlim of Vukuru High School, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move to nominate Representative Nicole Therese Guerrero of Dedido to the position of Legislative Secretary.
Thank you, Representative Kalimlim. Assistant Floor Leader Guerrero, do you accept the nomination?
I accept the nomination, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Let the record show that Assistant Floor Leader Guerrero of Dedido accepts the nomination. Are there any more nominations to the position of Legislative Secretary? Going once, going twice. All right. Hearing or seeing none, Mr. Floor Leader, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. At this time, I move that we close nominations for the position of Legislative Secretary.
Thank you, Mr. Floor Leader. On the motion to close nominations, are there any objections? Hearing or seeing none, the motion is carried. We will now proceed with the election of Legislative Secretary with one representative's name put into nomination. All those in favor of electing Representative Guerrero of the Municipality of Dedido, please signify your vote by raising your hand. Thank you. Let the record show that Representative Guerrero received 22 votes. And with that, I will now proclaim that Representative Guerrero has been duly elected the Legislative Secretary of the 35th Guam Youth Congress. Let's give her a round of applause. All right, congratulations, Representative Secretary Guerrero. Floor Leader Paz, you are recognized on your motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. In addition, there is also a vacancy in the position of the chairperson of the Committee on Workforce and Economic Development, Higher Education, and Labor of the 35th Guam Youth Congress. At this time, I move that we open the floor to accept nominations for this position.
Thank you, Mr. Floor Leader. There's been a motion to open nominations for the position of chairperson of the Committee on Workforce and Economic Development, Higher Education, and Labor of the 35th Guam Youth Congress. Are there any objections? Hearing or seeing none, the motion is carried. The floor is now open for nominations for the position of chairperson. Are there any representatives wishing to make a nomination? Representative Charfers of Manila, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move to nominate Representative Brian Teodosio of the University of Guam to the position of the chairperson of the Committee on Workforce and Economic Development, Higher Education, and Labor.
Thank you, Representative Charfers. Representative Teodosio, do you accept the nomination?
Yes, I accept the nomination, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Representative Teodosio. Are there any more nominations to the position of chairperson of the Committee on Workforce and Economic Development, Higher Education, and Labor? Going once, going twice. All right. Hearing or seeing none, Floor Leader Plaza, you are recognized on your motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. At this time, I move to close nominations for the position of chairperson of the Committee on Workforce and Economic Development, Higher Education, and Labor.
Thank you, Mr. Floor Leader. On the motion to close nominations, are there any objections? Hearing or seeing none, the motion is carried. We have received one nomination to the position of chairperson, that being Representative Teodosio. So all those in favor of electing Representative Teodosio of the University of Guam, please signify your vote by raising your hand. Thank you. Let the record show that there were 22 votes for Representative Teodosio. With Representative Teodosio receiving unanimous support, Representative Teodosio is duly elected to the position of Chairperson of the Committee on Workforce and Economic Development, Higher Education and Labor of the 35th Guam Youth Congress. Congratulations, Chairperson Teodosio. All right. You're no longer acting chairperson. Okay, are there any other representatives wishing to make a motion? Motions, anybody? Hearing or seeing none, we will now move on to agenda item number 14, the consent calendar. Mr. Floor Leader, you are recognized once again.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, there are no pending business under agenda item number 14, the consent calendar. At this time, I move that we waive this agenda item.
Thank you, Mr. Floor Leader. On the motion, are there any objections? Hearing or seeing none, the motion is carried. Agenda item number 14, the consent calendar, is hereby waived. We are now on agenda item number 15, colleagues, the second reading file. I will now recognize Representative O of Malesu on her motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I place to move into the third reading file Bill number 17-35 COR as amended by the Committee on Education, Youth Affairs, introduced by Sujin Oh. An act to add a new 2121120 to Chapter 21, Title 19, Guam Code Annotated, to establish the Guam Youth Internship Development Program under the Department of Youth Affairs and required to be given the opportunity to speak on the motion.
Please proceed, Representative O.
Hafa Day, members of the Youth Congress, and everyone present today. My name is Sujin Oh, and I stand before you not as just the introducer of Bill 1735, but also a student who has experienced firsthand how difficult it is to access real workplace opportunities on Guam. As a student, we often are told to prepare for the future, and we're told to build resumes and explore careers and be ready for college and the workforce. But many of us, especially here on Guam, those opportunities are limited, uneven, or even dependent on personal connections. Not every student knows someone who can offer them an internship. Not every family has the resources or flexibility to help their child gain early work experience. And this bill exists to change that. The Guam Youth Internship Development Program recognizes a simple truth. Students learn best when education is connected to the real world. Classrooms give us knowledge, but internships give us context. They teach us professionalism, responsibility, communication, and confidence, skills that cannot be learned from a textbook alone. This program creates a structured island-wide system that makes internships accessible to students from all public, private, and charter schools, regardless of background. By placing this program under the Department of Youth Affairs, we ensure accountability, safety, and consistency. As a student, I strongly support this bill because it does two very important things. First, it levels the playing field. Students should not have to miss on a career exploration simply because they lack connections. This program matches students based on interests and career paths and giving everyone a fair shot at the life they want. Second, I support local businesses and the Guam workforce. Employees consistently say they need future workers and basic workplace familiarity and soft skills. I think this program helps these students gain that at an earlier time. Some might say internships are privileged and necessary, but I believe in today's world, early exposure to the workplace is essential, not optional. If we want Guam's youth to stay and contribute and to lead, we must give them the tools to succeed here, not elsewhere. The bill is not about forcing students into work, into things they don't want to do. It's about opening doors and opportunities. And most importantly, it's about believing that Guam's youth are worth investing in. As a student, I really support this bill, and I hope you will too. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative O of Malesu. Are there any representatives wishing to speak on the main motion? On the main motion. Representative Balbastra of Haga, you're recognized.
Hafiday and good morning, members of the 35th Guam Youth Congress and to our fellow audience members. For those that are new to me, I'm Representative Charlie Babostro from the 35th Guam Youth Congress of Hoggett, and as I'm always proud to say, a former JRTC cadet. I just want to stand up here today that I'm in great support of this legislation, Bill 17-35. The internship opportunity will really open doors to youth needing the skills and experience for their future potential career paths. Establishing this Guam Youth Internship Development Program will surely benefit them to do excellent things and developing the necessary skills needed for their careers as they get older and their road to graduation. There are times that we strive to work hard for our future and in the need of funds, pushing ourselves every day after high school is a bigger case for lots of us in the island. The cost of living is rising up and moments gets harder when payment for bills are flowing to our inboxes. However, I truly support on Bill 17-35 as it hopefully passes on the session floor, and I can't wait to see other career potentials along the way. Si Juas Masi.
Sujus Masi, Representative Balbascio of Hoggett. Are there any other representatives wishing to speak on the bill? Hearing or seeing none, Representative O of Malesso, you're free to close on your bill.
Again, Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I move to place Bill number 17-35 COR as amended into the third reading file for voting.
Thank you, Representative O. On the motion to place Bill number 17-35 COR as amended into the third reading file for voting, are there any objections? Hearing or seeing none, the motion is carried. Representative O, you're recognized on your next motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I move to place into the third reading file Bill number 18-35 COR as introduced by Sujin O, an act to add new 77135 to Chapter 77, Title 21, Guam Code Annotated to establish the Adopt a Village Park Partnership Act, enabling mayors, the Guam Youth Congress, student groups, and non-governmental organizations to adopt and maintain public parks with annual grants to support communities, beautification, and tourism enhancement, and request to be given the opportunity to speak on the motion.
Please proceed, Representative O.
Half a day, everyone in the Guam Youth Congress and everyone that's here today. Again, my name is Sujin O, and I really hope you'll support Bill number 18-35, Adopt a Village Park Partnership Act. As a student, I've grown up seeing how important village parks are for our communities, and I believe they still are important. They're not just for the visitors who come to visit our island, but it's for the families who live around these parks. I've also seen that many parks are under-maintained, overused, and simply forgotten, but not just because the communities don't care, but because the resources are limited. This bill speaks from a powerful idea that community spaces thrive when a community is empowered to care for them. Village mayors already do their best with limited budgets, and this act strengthens their efforts by bringing in partners, the Guam Youth Congress, student groups, and non-governmental organizations, and give them a formal legal way to contribute. Instead of relying only on government cleaning schedules, we create a system where parks receive consistent shared care. Through this program, students gain hand-on experience in leadership, teamwork, environmental responsibility, and civic engagement. Cleaning, landscaping, planting, and reporting hazards may seem simple, but they teach accountability to all. And this act also makes smart economic sense. By appropriating $7,500 per Adopt a Park per year from the Tourist Attraction Fund, we are making small targeted investments that create visible improvements. Clean, safe, and welcoming parks enhance Guam's image for visitors while improving quality for life for residents. Tourism does not only depend on the hotels and beaches in Tumon, it depends on how we care for our own shared spaces. Importantly, this bill does not replace government responsibility. It strengthens the coordination between the community and the government. The Department of Parks and Recreation oversees this program, ensuring accountability and coordinating multiple organizations so efforts are not duplicated or wasted. Public recognition for parks participating groups further encourages them long-term commitment and pride. I hope you will, and I urge you for your support in Bill 18-35. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative O, on your introduction. Are there any representatives wishing to speak on the bill, Bill number 18-35 CUR? Representative Balbastro of Haget, you are recognized.
Half a day and good morning again. I just want to stand up here to show my sincerest support for Bill 18-35, adding a new subsection 77-135 to Chapter 77, Title 21, Guam Code Annotated, to establish the Adopt a Village Park Partnership Act. I really love it when the youth government organizations take part in this Adopt a Village movement, and it surely does benefit other youth in general to help support tourism industries as well as cleaning up our island. Beautification in our island never stops, and it keeps going and going. The grind isn't paused, and all of the youth need to do and work better on this very day. Cleaning up our island will allow all of us to see our island bright and shine in a prideful manner, not horrifyingly. Environments need to be kept clean, as well as our public parks, the very important one. Public parks are one of the most popular tourist attractions, especially Ipao Beach in Tumani. Parties are everywhere, and beaches are filled with water from a high to a low tide. People swim every day, and the weather keeps getting humid, like a California weather. I apologize. The worst one you can ever experience. This act will surely give an eye to the youth of Guam and organizations within the youth world to foster the island with sincere love, respect, integrity, and pride. This bill idea really supports it, and it really makes the community, especially our local leaders, that inspired to set up this act to be brought forth to their departments. Thank you, and si Juice Basi.
Sujus Mahasi, Representative Balbastro of Haget. Are there any other representatives wishing to speak on the bill, Bill number 18? Representative Kalimlim of Ukuru High School, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise in support of Bill 18-35 COR. As a resident of Liguan, I've seen how parks have deteriorated over time and how playgrounds and fields have fallen into disarray and where the grass barely gets cut. I believe this bill is seeking the right direction to improve our public parks and improve our public and private partnership while supporting a community effort while benefiting our island's health, environment, and economy. Sizos Masi.
Sujus Mahasi, Representative Kalimlim of Ukuru High School. Are there any other representatives wishing to speak on the bill, Bill number 18-35 COR? On the bill. Hearing or seeing none, Representative O of Maleso, you're recognized on your motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I move to place Bill number 18-35 COR as introduced into the third reading file for voting.
Thank you, Representative O. On the motion to place Bill number 18-35 COR as introduced into the third reading file for voting, are there any objections? Hearing or seeing none, the motion is carried. Representative O, you are recognized on your next motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I move to place into the third reading file Bill number 19-35 COR as introduced by Sujino, an act to add a new section 77135 to Chapter 77, Title 21 on the Guam Code Annotated to establish the Guam Youth Tourism Ambassador Program to train students as volunteer tourism ambassadors and support the development of Guam's tourism industry. And I request to be given an opportunity to speak on the motion.
Please proceed, Representative O.
Half a day. Again, today, bill is 19-35. It's the Guam Youth Tourism Ambassador Program. I believe tourism is not just one industry on Guam. It's kind of the backbone of our economy right now, and one of the strongest ways the world come to know who we are. Every visitor who arrives leaves with an impression of our island, our culture, and our people, and that impression matters. As a student, I believe Guam's youth have a powerful role to play in shaping that experience. This bill recognizes that young people are not just future leaders. We are capable contributors right now, even today in the Guam Youth Congress. Many students on Guam are multilingual, culturally aware, and have deep connections to our communities. We're already volunteering at fiestas, helping families navigate public spaces, and representing Guam in schools and events. This program gives structures, training, and recognition to the work that the youth already are eager to do. The Guam Youth Tourism Ambassador Program creates a coordinated system that trains students to serve as ambassadors of parks, museums, cultural sites, beaches, visitor centers, and village events. Through training in visitor interactions, cultural knowledges, and environmental stewardship, and also optional language instructions in Korean, Japanese, and Mandarin. Students gain real-world skills while supporting Guam's tourism infrastructure. As a student, I support this bill because it creates meaningful learning beyond a classroom. This is like real-life experience. Participants earn community service hours, certifications, and internship credits, and more importantly, they gain confidence in public communication, cultural pride, and professionalism. These are skills that benefit not only tourism, but any future career, whether in hospitality, education, public service, or international relations. This bill also represents a smart investment. With grants up to $10,000 per year from the Tourist Attraction Fund, the program supports training, uniforms, language courses, and deployment costs. These are modest funds and yield visible returns, bettering visitor experiences, stronger cultural preservations, and youth workforce prepared to support Guam's large industry. Importantly, this program is built on partnership. The Department of Parks and Recreation provides coordination. The Guam Visitor Bureau brings tourism experience. And the Guam Youth Congress ensures young voices remain central. This collaboration ensures accountability, quality training, and alignment with Guam's long-term tourism goals. Some may ask whether students can represent Guam professionally. As a student, I can confidently say that when youth are trusted, trained, and supported, we rise to the responsibility. This program does not just ask us to help, it prepares us to do so well. The Guam Youth Tourism Ambassador Program is more than just volunteering. It's about identity, pride, and preparation. It's about showing visitors that Guam's culture is living, welcome, and caring forward in its youth. Sujus Maasi, and I respectfully urge for your support in Bill 19-35.
Juice Maasi, Representative O of Malesu. Are there any representatives wishing to speak on the bill? Bill number 19-35 COR. I don't know what to call you. Secretary and Assistant Floor Leader Guerrero of Deredo, you're recognized.
Sizuas Masi, Mr. Speaker, I have a point of inquiry for the bill's author. I wanted to seek clarification regarding the grant that is included in this bill, specifically. It says in the bill, DPR in partnership with the Guam Visitors Bureau may provide annual grants of up to $10,000 per year. And then I'll skip forward. The grants authorized under this section shall be funded through appropriations made from the Tourist Attraction Fund to GVB for this purpose. So I was just seeking clarification on who is administering this grant particularly and who will be receiving it, because the current language of the bill seems to insinuate that DPR along with GVB will be rewarding grants to GVB itself. So I'm just seeking clarification on that from the primary author.
Thank you, Secretary Guerrero of Deredo. Representative O, do you yield to the question?
I do. I think it would be more of a partnership, but I'd say if anything, the Park and Recreation would get the money, and then they can do what they want with not they can do what they want with the money, but the money should go towards any of the part of this internship. And if GVB needs the money also for training or teaching students how to work the tourism side of things, I think some of that money can go towards. I think some of that money can also go towards the Guam Visitor Bureau. I hope that answered your question.
Yes. Does that satisfy your inquiry, Representative Guerrero? I mean, Secretary Guerrero.
It does, on a small end, Mr. Speaker, I do have reservations with regards to if DPR or if GVB is the one receiving these grants, they are unable to be the ones to simultaneously administer said grant. May I ask for a quick recess, if I may, so I can work with the bills as author to figure out the language for this portion of the bill?
Yes, we'll take a moment's recess, colleagues.
This is Masi.
The 35th Guam Youth Congress is called back to order. Colleagues, we are still on the second reading file, and we are on Representative O's motion on Bill number 19-35 COR. Secretary Guerrero, you still have the floor.
Suzus Masi, Mr. Speaker, and thank you for that short recess so we can work the language of this bill up. Colleagues, I make a motion to make a floor amendment to the Bill 19-35 COR. The proposed amendment is located in our session drive under this bill number. But essentially, this clarifies the language within the bill to specify who would be receiving and administering the grants proposed under this act, particularly rather than DPR in partnership with the Guam Visitors Bureau. In working with the author, the amended line which would be on page 3 of the bill, lines 8 to 14, would now read, the Guam Visitors Bureau, GVB, may provide annual grants of up to $10,000 per year to support ambassador training, language courses, volunteer materials, uniforms, and event deployment costs. The grants authorized under this section shall be funded through appropriations made from the Tourist Attraction Fund to DPR for this purpose. Funds allocated for this act shall not be transferred or reprogrammed for any other purposes. Again, this is located in the drive, and I make a motion to adopt this amendment for Bill 19-35 COR.
Thank you, Secretary Guerrero. Secretary Guerrero has made a motion to adopt a floor amendment to Bill number 19-35 COR. We will shift away from the main motion, and we will now discuss the Guerrero Amendment. Are there any representatives wishing to speak on the Guerrero Amendment? Here, Representative O, you want to speak on the Guerrero Amendment, if you're okay with it or not? You're the main sponsor, so.
I'd like to thank her for the amendment to the bill. I think it's better that we constantly try, not constantly, but we evolve the bill to fit so the wording is more specific, and I think this will really help determining in who gets the funds and who's allowed to send them out and use them. Thank you so much.
All right, Suzus Masi, Representative O of Malesa. On the Guerrero Amendment, are there any other representatives wishing to speak on the Guerrero Amendment? Hearing or seeing none, Representative Guerrero, you are free to close on the Guerrero Amendment.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And again, Suzus Masi, to the primary sponsor for allowing me to work with her on the language of this bill and rectifying that and making sure that we're clear about who we're awarding the grant to and who is administering it. I know it always gets a little tricky when it comes to funding, and we want to make sure that the language that we're including in the bill is clear in hopes that, once it makes it out of this body, it's something that can be picked up, and there's not a whole lot of changes that need to be done on the legislatures. And so again, I thank the author for allowing me to work with her on this amendment. And I make a motion to adopt the Guerrero Amendment to the language of Bill 19-35 COR. Thank you.
Suzus Masi, Secretary Guerrero. On the motion to adopt the Guerrero Amendment, are there any objections? Hearing or seeing none, the Guerrero Amendment is hereby adopted. We are back on the main motion. We are still on Bill number 19-35 COR as amended on the floor. Are there any other representatives wishing to speak on the bill? On the bill. Representative Balbastro, you are recognized.
Manana si Jules, Mr. Speaker. I'm really in true support of Bill 19-35 as students and youth give them the opportunity to learn about the tourism industry and the occupational experience. One thing about it that's really stood out is tourism, the #1 on Guam. Tourism is very important to the island as it really gives more stipends and businesses are earning really high amount of money due to tourism. But without tourism, nothing can be possible for this island, and the cost of living will be low. But with them and with its military buildup, it's high. But we do understand that for these youth, we'll give them the opportunity to learn about tourism, to explore about tourism, and to explore this tons of experience, especially for their work experience, so they can learn and it will help benefit them in the future. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Sus Maasi, Representative Albasho of Hagat, on the bill, Bill number 19-35 COR. Are there any other representatives wishing to speak? Representative Fernandez of Notre Dame High School, you're recognized.
Have a day, Mr. Speaker. I'm standing in support of Bill number 19-35. Tourism plays a huge role in Guam's economy and how our island is represented to the world. And this bill gives Guam's youth the opportunity to serve as trained ambassadors at cultural sites, parks, and community events while gaining real skills in hospitality, communication, and cultural knowledge. For these reasons, I strongly support the passage of this bill, and I ask to be added as a co-sponsor to this bill. Thank you, Sus Maasi.
Sus Maasi, Representative Fernandez of Notre Dame High School, on a motion to add Representative Fernandez as a co-sponsor onto the legislation. Are there any objections? Hearing or seeing none, the motion is carried. We are still on Bill number 19-35 COR as amended on the floor. Are there any other representatives wishing to speak? Representative Angulo of Guam High School, you're recognized.
Thank you, Speaker, and for the warm welcome of everybody. I'm in support of Representative O's bill as well as the other two bills introduced. They all create a very impressive essence and purpose of reinvesting in Guam and empowering the youth to create more job growth and different paths to success. This specific bill completes her entire trilogy of creating a group of youth that focus on tourism specifically and basically use the tourism growth that we're seeing right now as a launching pad to propel Guam's youth into more successive job paths. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, Representative Angulo. Are there any other representatives wishing to speak on the bill as amended? On the bill. Hearing or seeing none, Representative O of Malesu, you're free to close.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I move to place Bill number 19-35 COR as amended on the floor into the third reading file for voting.
Sus Maasi, Representative O, on the motion to place Bill number 19-35 COR as amended on the floor into the third reading file for voting. Are there any objections? Hearing or seeing none, the motion is carried. Secretary Guerrero, you are recognized on your motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Due to the representative's absence, I move we refer Bill number 27-35 COR to the Committee on Rules.
Sus Maasi, Secretary Guerrero, on a motion to refer Representative Kim's Bill number 27-35 COR back to the Committee on Rules. Are there any objections? Hearing or seeing none, the motion is carried. We'll now move on to the next item under the second reading file. Vice Speaker Atoygui of Tamuning Tuman Harmon, you are recognized on your motion.
Sus Maasi, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I move to place into the third reading file Bill number 28-35 COR, introduced by myself, Trevin Atoygui, an act to add a new section 3112.3 of Chapter 3, Title 17, Guam Code annotated, relative to strengthening student safety by requiring anonymous reporting systems, counseling services, and transparency measures in Guam Department of Education schools, and I request to be given the opportunity to speak on the motion.
Please proceed, Vice Speaker Atoygui.
Jesus Mossy, Mr. Speaker. To my fellow colleagues present today, I rise today to introduce Bill number 28-35, an act dedicated to strengthening the safety of our students in every school across Guam. The foundation of education is safety. Without it, learning cannot flourish when students feel unsafe, whether in classrooms, hallways, or even spaces connected to their school. Their ability to focus, grow, and succeed is compromised. As representatives of Guam's youth, it is our responsibility to ensure that every child has the protection and support they need to thrive. This measure establishes a secure, anonymous reporting portal and a telephone hotline, giving students, parents, and school staff a safe way to raise concerns. It ensures that reports are immediately directed to administrators and counselors who are trained to respond with care and urgency. By protecting the identity of those who come forward, we move with barriers to speaking up and create a culture where safety is prioritized above all else. Mr. Speaker, and to my fellow colleagues, this bill is not just about technology, it is about the trust. It is about building a system where students know they will be heard, where parents know that their children are protected, and where educators have the tools to act quickly and effectively. It is about ensuring that no student feels silenced or ignored when facing challenges that affect their well-being. This act also calls for training and accountability. Administrators, teachers, and counselors will be equipped with the knowledge and resources to respond appropriately, ensuring that every report is met with compassion and urgency. Transparency measures will help build confidence in the system, reassuring families that their concerns are taken seriously and addressed appropriately. Bill number 28-35 is a declaration that Guam will not tolerate environments where fear overshadows learning, and it is a promise to our students and to the parents that their safety is non-negotiable. It is a guaranteed thing. It is a commitment to parents that their children's well-being is our highest priority. And it is a pledge to the educators that they will have the tools to protect and uplift the students entrusted into their care. Colleagues, by voting for this bill, you are voting for a safer school, stronger communities, and a brighter future for Guam. Let us take this step together to ensure that every student can walk into their classroom with confidence, knowing that their safety is a guaranteed thing. Jesus Masi, Mr. Speaker.
Deuce Masi, Mr. Vice Speaker. On the bill, bill number 28-35 COR. Are there any representatives wishing to speak? Representative Poblete of Chalampago, you are recognized.
Hafaday, Mr. Speaker, I would like to ask for a 1-minute recess.
Okay, there's been a motion for a 1-minute recess. Are there any objections? Hearing and seeing none, the motion is carried. We are in recess. 35th Guam Youth Congress is hereby called back to order. We are still on the second reading file on Bill number 28-35 COR. Vice Speaker Toigui, you still have the floor.
Jesus Masi, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I'd like to retract my motion and to place Bill 28-35 to the ending of the third reading file. And I would like to make a motion to refer it back to the Committee on Education and Youth Affairs.
Okay, Vice Speaker Toigui, those are two very separate motions. Do you wish to move it to the bottom of the agenda, or do you wish to send it back to committee?
My apologies. I wish to send it back to the Committee on Education and Youth Affairs.
All right, thank you, Mr. Vice Speaker. On the Vice Speaker's motion to place Bill number 28-35 COR back to the Committee on Education and Youth Affairs, are there any objections? Hearing or seeing none, the motion is carried. We are now going to move on to their next agenda item. Representative Teodosio of the University of Guam, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I move to place into the third reading file Bill 7-35 COR as amended by the Committee on Workforce and Economic Development, Higher Education and Labor, introduced by Brian Teodosio, Grace Ann de la Cruz, and Devin Santos, an act to add a new Article 15, Chapter 77, Title 12, Guam Code Annotated, relative to providing tax credits to businesses who pay up educational expenses toward their employees, to be known as the Employee Investment Act of 2026, and be requested to be given the opportunity to speak on the motion.
Please proceed, Representative Teodosio.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to present Bill 7-35 COR, a measure which aims to provide tax credits incentives to businesses who invest in their employees by paying a portion of their education expenses. What this measure aims to do is to make higher education and job training more reachable for individuals who are unable to afford education on their own accord, which gives local businesses the opportunity to support their employees and strengthen and retain their workforce. As a higher education representative from the University of Guam, I have met a couple of students who chose to drop out of college and enter the workforce unprepared, without a degree, and with a lower likelihood to advance in their careers. And this is simply because higher education is simply unattainable for them financially. And the truth is, many people do want to go back to school, whether it's finishing a certification, gaining new skills, or getting a professional credential. But the reality is that the cost of those education can be overwhelming. So, Mr. Speaker, throughout my academic journey, I have interned at companies who pay off educational expenses already, and they were able to, and through that kind of program, they were able to attend either the University of Guam or GCC, and many of the young professionals I have met can attest to the fact that the companies who invest in them are the reason that they are successful in their careers. So Bill 7-35 is really all about empowering our island's workforce. So whether you're an admin assistant climbing up the corporate ladder, a healthcare worker trying to complete your degree, a technician earning a specialized certification, or just an employee who just wants to pursue professional development, this bill helps make these goals possible by giving the people the tools they need to grow and giving businesses the incentive to support that growth. So once again, I ask my colleagues to please support this bill. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Representative Teodosio, and congrats on having this bill finally be put on before the floor. Are there representatives wishing to speak on the bill, Bill number 7-35 COR as amended by the committee? On the bill. Secretary Guerrero of Dededo, you are recognized on the bill.
Sizulis Masi, Mr. Speaker, I rise in strong support of this bill, and I commend the author for putting it forward. I believe that this is a measure that is a long time coming for our island. We often talk about workforce readiness, developing the skills and the capacity needed to advance in the workplace. However, we are lacking systems and programs in place designed to encourage students, whether you be at 20 years old entering college, or you are a non-traditional student wanting to go get a degree, wanting to go get a certificate, to advance your education, but also to advance your prospects for employers, or maybe advance your chances of getting a promotion, getting a salary increase because you are more credentialed. We are missing the opportunities for students to have that because of economic impacts. because they could not afford to take an additional class, because they could not afford to pursue their degree, but they have the necessary tools and knowledge from their experience to continue working in the field of their choice. And this is something that it would also be beneficial for employers, right? We often hear about how so many employers are hiring right now on Guam. So many employers are looking for specific credentials to hire for top-level positions. However, they are finding nobody that is able to fit them because they're lacking either the expertise, the qualifications on the educational scale, or even just the experience necessary. This allows companies to directly support their workers to ensure that they are able to hire for the positions that they are seeking to hire for. And again, I commend the author because this is something that, as he said, is already being done by several companies on island. However, by codifying it, by allowing incentives for these companies, more companies would be more inclined to pursue this. While I recognize that this may not be an option for every company, we have a lot of small businesses on island who maybe are unable to afford to pay for their employees to pursue higher education. This is something that can still be beneficial for a lot of the companies on our island when they have the financial means to do so. And again, this is a two-way street. This bill provides opportunities for employees, but also employers, and make sure that our workforce here on island is well educated, well qualified, and also have the experience to continue and improve our economy and continue to work for our economy. And once again, I would just like to commend the author for getting this on the session floor. I know it took a while, but I do think that this is a meaningful piece of legislation, and I greatly support this bill. Situs Masi, Mr. Speaker.
Situs Masi, Secretary Guerrero of Dedido. Are there any representatives wishing to speak on the bill, bill number 7-35 COR, on the bill? Hearing or seeing none, Representative Teodosio, you're free to close on your motion.
Hey, thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you to Representative Guerrero for your support on this bill. I would like to make a first motion to add Speaker Fortuno and Representative Guerrero as co-sponsors.
Situs Masi, on the motion by Representative Teodosio to add myself, Speaker Fortuno, and Secretary Guerrero as co-sponsors on the bill, are there any objections? Hearing or seeing none, the motion is carried. Representative Teodosio, you still have the floor.
Thank you. I'd also like to make another motion to add Representative Poblete as a co-sponsor.
On the motion to add Representative Charfris?
Poblete.
Representative Poblete as a co-sponsor on the bill. Are there any objections? Hearing or seeing none, the motion is carried. Representative Teodosio, you still have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move to place Bill 7-35 COR as amended by the Committee on Workforce and Economic Development, Higher Education, and Labor into the third reading file for voting.
Situs Masi, Representative Teodosio, on the motion to place Bill number 7-35 COR as amended by the committee and further amended on the floor into the third reading file for voting, are there any objections? Hearing or seeing none, the motion is carried. Thank you, Representative Teodosio. Secretary Guerrero, you are recognized once again on your motion.
Situs Masi, Mr. Speaker. Due to the representatives' absence, I move to place Bill number 29-35 COR and refer it back to the Committee on Rules.
Situs Masi, Secretary Guerrero, on her motion to refer Bill number 29, Representative De La Cruz's Bill number 29-35 COR back to the Committee on Rules. Are there any objections? Hearing or seeing none, the motion is carried. We will now move on to our next agenda item. Representative Kalimlim of Ukuru High School, you're recognized on your motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I move to place into the third reading file Bill number 15-35 LS, introduced by myself, Jordan Kalimlim, an act to authorize a plebiscite to determine whether the people of Guam support conducting a future political status plebiscite, and request to be given the opportunity to speak on the motion.
Please proceed, Representative Kalimlam.
Today, I rise to present my bill, 15-35 LS. In this bill, I hope to present a question to Guam voters in the next 2028 election whether or not they would like to have a vote on Guam's political status and revisit the issue of decolonization and self-determination for our island that has long been delayed. To my understanding, there are many hurdles to the efforts of decolonization and self-determination for our island that has long stalled the process of revisiting this issue for the future of Guam. From who gets to vote to the legality, and this bill seeks to move forward from this issue without touching on the sensitive issues surrounding decolonization, but this bill does not decide Guam's political status, nor does it mandate an immediate status change. Instead, it is necessary and a responsible first step by asking the people of Guam a simple but powerful question. Should Guam conduct a plebiscite on its future political status? Yes or no? By authorizing a non-binding and advisory plebiscite to be conducted alongside the 2028 general election, this measure seeks to gauge public interest, promote informed engagement, and provide policymaking with clear data that reflects the will of the people. Ultimately, this legislation centers the voice of community and encourages continued education on self-determination, civic participation, and Guam's political future. I respectfully ask for your consideration and support of Bill 15-35, Sijos Maasi, and I kindly ask for all your support.
Situs Maasi, Representative Kalimlam of Ukuru High School. On the bill, bill number 15-35 LS, are there any representatives wishing to speak on the bill? Representative Charfers of Manila, you are recognized.
Hafadi and buenas to everyone who's gathered here today, and Happy New Year. As many of you know, I am a strong supporter of Guam's right to self-determination. That commitment has never changed. However, with that said, I want to address several issues and concerns that I and many others who have taken the time to understand this topic share. These are concerns rooted not in opposition, but in a desire to ensure that any action we take is meaningful, effective, and respectful to the history and the people most affected by this process. We meet at a pivotal point in our island's history, one that calls for us to reflect not only on the political future we want, but on the people whose story, heritage, and survival have shaped this island for thousands of years. Any conversation about political status, decolonization, or self-governance must begin with a truth that is older than every law on the books. This island is the ancestral homeland of its native people, the Chamorros. For generations, the indigenous inhabitants of this land have shouldered the consequences of decisions made far beyond their decisions. From colonization to war, relocation, land taking, and the imposition of external political systems, it has been the Chamorro people and those genealogically tied to them who have borne the weight of decisions they did not make, yet had to live with. Today, as we discuss how to conduct a political status plebiscite, our responsibility is simple but profound: to ensure that the original inhabitants of this island have a central, protected, and meaningful voice in determining its future. This is not a matter of privilege. This is not a matter of exclusion. It is a matter of a restorative justice. Across the world, the United Nations recognizes that colonized indigenous populations hold a distinct right to self-determination, a right grounded not in race, but in historical political status. In every decolonization process recognized by international law, the people whose political status was altered without their consent are the ones whose consent must now be sought. What I'm discussing today is the same principle. The political status question, whether our island will remain as it is, seek greater autonomy, or pursue a new relationship, should reflect the will of those whose political status was permanently changed by external powers. Those whose land, language, culture, and governance structure were transformed by colonization. Those who never had the chance to decide for themselves. This is not about dividing our community. This is about correcting a historical imbalance. We all know that the Chamorro people and the original native inhabitants of this island have survived centuries of disruption. Yet their political voice has never been fully restored. To honor them and to fulfill our moral obligation in this decolonization process, we must ensure that the plebiscite reflects the internationally recognized right of an indigenous people to express their political will. Let me be clear though. We welcome every resident who calls this island home. We celebrate the diversity that makes our community strong. But diversity cannot erase the history, and it cannot replace the indigenous right to self-determination. Supporting a plebiscite framework that recognizes the native inhabitants isn't about excluding others. It's about acknowledging that decolonization is not a general opinion poll. It is a remedy, a restoration, and a long-delayed act of political justice. If we are sincere about charting a future that respects all people on this island, then we must first respect the people who were here from the very settling of this island. Those who kept this island alive through war, occupation, displacement, and generations of cultural suppression. Their voice must not only be heard, it must be protected. It must be centered, and it must be recognized as the foundation of any process claiming to be one of true self-determination. Colleagues and members of the 35th Guam Youth Congress, let us move forward with courage, with honesty, and with respect for the people whose story began this island's history. Let us create a plebiscite process that honors that story. Let us ensure that the native inhabitants of this land finally have the chance to speak for themselves, clearly, directly, and without dilution. This is not our responsibility. It is our moral obligation. On the main purpose of the bill simply asks the people of Guam to express interest or disinterest in holding a plebiscite on our island's future political status. And the truth is, the answer to that question has been clear for decades. Since 1997, when the 24th Guam legislature established the Commission on Decolonization to continue and expand the work of its predecessor, the Commission on Self-Determination. The people of Guam have consistently shown that they want to address our political status. The creation of these commissions was not accidental. It was not response to a public sentiment, to community engagement, and to a long-standing desire for clarity on Guam's political relationship with the United States. In fact, every generation since has continued to voice the same message. Guam wants a process, Guam wants a say, and Guam wants to move forward than what is currently in place. I also want to add that I have personally spoken with the author of this bill. He shared with me that he's willing to work on a new strengthened bill that would push Guam's decolonization efforts even further and within the core principle of this issue. That willingness matters. It means we are not just voting on a one-time measure. We are taking a step toward renewed momentum, toward an improved process, and toward finally engaging our community in a meaningful conversation about our political future. This is my stance on this issue. This is my stance on the bill. Thank you, and Sizos Masi.
Sizos Masi, Representative Charfers of Manila on the bill, bill number 15-35 LS. Are there any other representatives wishing to speak on the bill? Representative Leon Guerrero of Academy of Our Lady of Guam, you're recognized.
Thank you. I would also like to thank the author for putting forward this bill, as I am in support, because it also gives new voters, the youth, the opportunity to voice and speak out their opinion on Guam's future political status during the next general election. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Leon Guerrero. Are there any other representatives wishing to speak on the bill? Bill number 15-35 LS on the bill. Representative Poblete of Chalampago Orda, you're recognized.
Hafaday colleagues, at its core, this bill asks a simply but necessary question. Does Guam want to hold a political status plebiscite? From my own view, yes, I believe we should hold a plebiscite, but that decision should not be mine alone. It should not be decided by any single group, generation, or perspective. It must be decided by the people of Guam. It is also important to be clear about what this bill does not do. This bill does not decide who should be eligible to vote in a future political status plebiscite, whether that involves native inhabitants, descendants, or other classifications that have been debated in the past. Those are serious and complex questions and are not being decided here. What this bill does is so much more basic. It simply asks the people of Guam whether we should hold a political status plebiscite in the near future at all. This measure allows eligible voters to say yes or no, whether we move forward or remain at the status quo. Everyone approaches this issue with different experiences and perspectives. We all know that. And this bill represents that by letting the people decide through an election process. Yes, there have been federal limitations, and yes, the people of Guam expressed their will in the past. But this is the present. Especially for the youth of Guam, this decision matters because we will live with the consequences of whatever path is chosen. This bill does not decide Guam's political status. It does not promote any option. It simply listens to the people of Guam. For these reasons, I respectfully urge my colleagues to support this piece of legislation. Thank you.
Sujus Masi, Representative Poblete of Chalampago, Ordot. Are there any other representatives? Representative Yang of Manilao, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I would like to yield my time to Representative Charfris to speak on this bill.
You know, I'm going to have to rule your motion out of order, Representative Yang. Representative Charfris is the person who brought the motion forward, so he can speak at any time. Yeah, so he doesn't need to receive time yield. But if there's no other representative wishing to speak, are there any other representatives wishing to speak on the bill? If not, I will yield it back to Representative Charfris to close on his motion and then reiterate his motion. Thank you.
Okay, thank you about that. Okay, so someone very close to me, right, they said that they were kind of unclear on my stance on the bill. I would like to reiterate that my stance on this bill is that I do not support it, right? And I feel like, well, I'm not going to give you that whole speech again, okay? But, right, that's my stance on that. I do not support this bill. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Representative Charfris. Oversight on my part. Why did I think he was the prime sponsor? Representative Kalimlam is the prime sponsor. So I'm going to take what you just did and then deem it that the body has approved. Sorry. Just very confusing on my part. But thank you, Representative Charfris. Are there any other representatives wishing to speak on Representative Kalimlam's bill number 15-35? Anybody? And if not, I will let Representative Kalimlam close on the bill. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you again, colleagues. I hope to have your support for the passage of this bill and finally get the ball moving on the issue of Guam's political status while recognizing the history of indigenous people, the indigenous people of Guam, the Chamorro people. Without this bill, we seek to dilute the process of the plebiscite vote and recognize the need for those who were denied the voice to express their opinions about decolonization. At its core, Bill 15-35 is about listening and moving forward from it. It recognizes the decision about Guam's political future and should not be made without first understanding where, without first recognizing, without first understanding where the people stand and whether they are ready to engage in that conversation. This bill does not push for an outcome, favor a political status option, or predetermine the direction for our island. Instead, it empowers the people of Guam, both Chamorro and non-Chamorros, to express their will in an open, democratic, and informed way. By supporting this measure, we affirm the importance of civic participation, transparency, and self-determination for our island. We take a thoughtful step forward towards ensuring that the only future action on political status is guided by the voices of the community we serve. I respectfully ask for your support of Bill 15-35. Sizos Maasi.
Sudus Masi, Representative Kalimlam of Wukuru High School. You want to restate your motion, Representative Kalimlam?
Mr. Speaker, I move to place Bill number 15-35 LS as introduced into the third reading file for voting.
Sujus Masi, Representative Kalaman, on the motion to place Bill number 15-35 LS as introduced into the third reading file for voting. Are there any objections? Hearing or seeing none, the motion is carried. Representative Leon Guerrero of Academy of Our Lady of Guam, you are recognized on your motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I move to place into the third reading file Bill number 16-35 COR, introduced by myself, Sofia Leon Guerrero, an act to repeal and reenact Section 3106 of Chapter 3, Title 3, Guam Code Annotated, relative to implementing automatic voter registration and pre-registration in all public high schools, public charter high schools at the Guam Community College and the University of Guam, and to cite this act as the Youth Voter Act of 2025, and request to be given the opportunities to speak on the motion.
Please proceed, Representative Leon Guerrero.
Hafaday, fellow members of the 35th Guam Youth Congress, and all those present and listening, I rise today to introduce the Youth Voter Act of 2025, legislation designed to strengthen democratic engagement among Guam's young people that increases the opportunity of automatic voter registration and pre-registration at all public high schools, charter high schools, GCC, and UOG. Our democracy is strongest when all voices, especially the voices of young people, are heard at the ballot box. Yet recent data reveals a troubling pattern. Guam's voter turnout has declined substantially over the past decade, with the 2024 general election recording a historic low turnout of approximately 48.3% of registered voters, even as registration numbers climb to their highest levels on record, according to the Guam Election Commission. The Youth Voter Act of 2025 responds directly to these challenges by bringing voter registration opportunities into the places where our youth learn, grow, and prepare for adulthood. Public high schools and college campuses, when a registrar is available, are official registration and pre-registration sites as published on the GEC website as to where to register. However, many students are unaware that their school gives this opportunity, so this bill intends to highlight and ensure just that. Each registration clerk of a public high school and charter high school shall, prior to the conferral of a diploma or its equivalent, provide every eligible student the opportunity to register or pre-register to vote. As for applicants for GCC and UOG, the president of GCC and UOG shall provide every eligible applicant the opportunity to register to vote, or if already registered, to update their voting address as part of the admissions process. An applicant's refusal to register or update registration shall not be on grounds for denial or admission or for graduation. This bill will make civic participation more accessible, equitable, and normalized as part of the educational experience. Guam law allows pre-registration for individuals beginning at age 16, yet opportunities for young eligible residents to engage with the electoral process remain limited. This bill is actually based on the Youth Voter Act of 2021 that was introduced to the 36th legislature on July 2021, but was not passed into law. So I seek to reintroduce it and amend it to apply to charter high schools, expanding this needed opportunity. It reflects our commitment to expanding civic engagement, strengthening representation, and preparing the next generation of leaders for active involvement in Guam civic life. Sujos Maasi for the opportunity to speak, and I kindly ask for your support on this bill. Thank you.
Sujus Maasi, Representative Guerrero of Academy of Our Lady of Guam, and as duly pointed out, right, just for on the record, the bill is a mirror legislation to the prior legislation introduced in the 33rd Youth Congress by former Representative Nolan Flores, the Youth Voter Act of 2021. And with that, are there any representatives wishing to speak on the bill, bill number 16-35 COR, on the bill? Secretary Guerrero, I'll go ahead and recognize you at this time.
Suzuki Masi, Mr. Speaker. I'd like to stand in strong support of this bill. I think this measure is something that is much needed. As the primary author has stated in her opening remarks, voter turnout is at an all-time low. And that's especially true for people of our demographic, the youth. And, I often liken it to not knowing or not caring, right? It's either the youth does not care about what happens in their government, which they absolutely should. And I think that this body is a testament to why the youth should care. But for many also, they don't know how. They don't know how to get registered. They don't know where to go. They don't know where their precinct is to vote. They don't know when the general elections are. And although we live in a time where the information is at the tip of our fingertips, this is a sometimes lack of information or it not being in front of you is enough reason to not go out to vote. And I think that this bill represents a great stepping stone to getting the youth out there, making sure that they are informed. This is how you register to vote. I can register you to vote right now. This is when election is. This is where the precinct that you will be voting in is. And I commend the author for introducing this bill. As was stated, a mirror legislation. Clearly there is an urge back then, and there continues to be a purpose and an urge now to pass legislation such as this to make sure that more of the public goes out to vote, especially those of the younger generation who will inherit this island, who are looking to the leaders elected today to decide their future tomorrow. And so I think that this is a great stepping stone to making sure that voter registration, voter participation is not once again at an all-time low this upcoming year. It's an election year. And the last thing we want to see is for record-breaking numbers in that it's a record-breaking number because not enough people went out to vote once again. And so again, I commend the author of the bill. I rise in great support of this, and I ask for my colleagues to support this measure as well as something that is well-intentioned, much needed, and very appropriate given that we are the Guam Youth Congress and we represent the bridge between the youth and the government of our island. So, Titus Masi, Mr. Speaker.
Sus Masi, Secretary Guerrero of Dededo. Are there any other representatives wishing to speak? Representative Kalimlim of Ukuru High School, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I also rise in strong support and commend the author for this piece of legislation. I echo the sentiments made by Secretary Guerrero, and as an upcoming voter for the 2026 election, since I'm 18 now, I'm very excited to vote, and it's because I took out of my way to pre-register and get ready to register and vote. But Representative Guerrero is correct. The youth of Guam do know about the issues within our island, but it's not at the tip of their finger or it's not in front of them that many people do not vote. The youth of Guam is the lowest demographic when it comes to voting. And so in order to make change for our island, and since we are the future of Guam, it is very important that we become registered voters, and so I kindly ask everyone for their support of this bill. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Kalimlim of Ukuru High School. Are there any other representatives? Vice Speaker Toigui of Tamuning Tuman Harmon, you're recognized.
Jesus Masi, Mr. Speaker. I would just like to stand in strong support of this bill. The Voter Act, the Youth Voter Act, Vote Act of 2025. This bill not only empowers Guam's young people, it strengthens our democracy. By introducing this automatic voter registration and pre-registration in our high schools, Guam Community College, and the University of Guam, we make civic participation simple and part of a student life. This act removes barriers and builds habits of engagement and ensures that every eligible student can stand up, be counted, and help shape Guam's future. Colleagues, I rise in support of this bill once again, and I highly encourage every single one of you to vote yes for this bill. Sizos Masi, Mr. Speaker.
Sidus Masi, Vice Speaker Toigui. Are there any other representatives wishing to speak on Bill number 16-35 COR, Bill 16? Hearing or seeing none, Representative Leon Guerrero, you are free to close on your bill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I move to place Bill number 16-35 COR as introduced into the third reading file for voting.
On a motion by Representative Leon Guerrero to place Bill number 16-35 COR as introduced into the third reading file for voting, are there any objections? Hearing or seeing none, the motion is carried. Secretary Guerrero, you are recognized on a motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Due to the representative's absence, I move that we refer resolution number 24-35 COR to the Committee on Rules.
Seduce Masi, Secretary Guerrero, on her motion to refer resolution number 24-35 COR introduced by Representative Kim back to the Committee on Rules. Are there any objections? Hearing or seeing none, the motion is carried. Colleagues, we will take a short recess before entertaining the last two items in our second reading file. Thank you. We are in recess.
The 35th Guam Youth Congress is called back to order. We are still on agenda item number 15, the second reading file. Speaker Fortuno Oderido, you are recognized on your motion.
Seduce Maasi, Mr. Vice Speaker. I move to place into the third reading file resolution number 21-35 COR, introduced by myself, Austin G. Fortuno, Trevin Atoigui, Nathan I. Paz, Nicole Therese Guerrero, Jordan Kalimlim, Gubin Su, Alexander Cruz, Nehal Kodiyamplaka, Siana Santos, Brian Andrew Teodosio, and Micah Janelle Imbat, Kirsten Joy V. Cruz, and Devin C. Santos, relative to expressing the strong support of Imina Trentay Cinco na Kongreso Manhubing Guahan, the 35th Guam Youth Congress, for Bill number 215-38 COR, relative to waiving sanitary permit fees for student-led fundraisers, and urging Imina Trentay Otsu na Legislaturon Guahan, the 38th Guam Legislature, to expeditiously pass this bill to expand opportunities for student organizations across Guam, and requests to be given the opportunity to speak on the motion.
Please proceed, Speaker Fortuno.
Seduce Maasi, Mr. Vice Speaker. Mr. Vice Speaker, I rise to introduce resolution number 21-35 COR, expressing the support of this body for bill number 215-38, relative to waiving sanitary permit fees for student-led fundraisers. Mr. Vice Speaker, fundraising is central to the student experience on Guam. Many members of this body are currently a member of a student organization, was a member of a student organization, and know all too well the importance of fundraising in helping to generate revenue to fund student activities. Parent-teacher groups, sports teams, high school class councils, cultural and academic clubs, service organizations routinely fundraise so that students may participate fully in school life. Students work for students and families work with them to build a richer and more inclusive educational experience than what limited budgets alone can support. Yet, Mr. Vice Speaker, current sanitary permit requirements treat these efforts as commercial activities. As a result, student groups and PTAs routinely pay between $50 to $100 per fundraiser. Over the course of a semester or a school year, these fees accumulate and ultimately fall on families. This burden is not abstract. Students have shared concrete examples with members of this body. You have sports teams who are delaying uniform orders because a fundraiser had to be pushed back while fees continue to be gathered. You have graduation and prom committees as part of class councils downsizing events or selling more tickets because money that could have gone to decorations, to the venue, or food instead went to permits. You have academic clubs who are opting not to host concession stands at tournaments or sports meets because the margin was not worth the permit cost. And you have parent-teacher groups who are deciding that fewer fundraisers or higher prices were necessary just to break even. Mr. Vice Speaker, these are the small decisions on paper, but they have real consequences for the student population and their participation and access to school life. Bill number 215-38 COR, authored by Senator Vincent A.V. Borja, makes a sensible distinction. It preserves all public health safeguards, inspections, supervision, proper food handling, while removing a fee that does little to advance public health in this context. And according to the fiscal note issued by the Bureau of Budget Management and Research, Mr. Vice Speaker, in consultation with the Department of Public Health and Social Services, sanitary permit revenue associated with student fundraisers totaled slightly above $3,000 for fiscal year 2025. For government coffers, the impact is minimal. But for students, for parents, for teachers, this move is meaningful. Mr. Vice Speaker, I would like to thank Senator Borja for recognizing these realities and for introducing legislation to address them. I also note that Bill number 215-38 COR is scheduled on the session agenda for Legislaturan Guahan's caucus session on Monday. With the matter actively before Imene Trentay Otsu na Legislaturan Guahan, it is necessary now that the youth, the voice of youth, be made known before final action is taken on the bill. This resolution speaks to the purpose of the Congreso Manhubing Guahan, the 35th Guam Youth Congress. Our body exists so that youth themselves may articulate how policy affects them, not as a hypothetical group, but as lived experience. Too often, policy is drafted around adults' assumptions about student life. Through this resolution, Mr. Vice Speaker, we highlight the unique circumstances under which student organizations operate and ask that public policy that is established by the Guam legislature recognize those differences. For these reasons, Mr. Vice Speaker, I respectfully request the support of my colleagues in adopting resolution number 21-35 CUR and the hopeful transmission of our support to Imina Trentay Otsu na Leas Turang Guahan. Mr. Vice Speaker.
Jesus Masi, Speaker for Tuna. Are there any representatives wishing to speak on the resolution? Secretary Guerrero, you're recognized.
Jesus Masi, Mr. Vice Speaker. I rise in strong support of this resolution and of this bill in itself. I believe that this bill came about as a result of the town halls that Senator Borja has been hosting with the various schools and members of our community and the GDOE community. And this is something that is felt by all of us here. I would presume all of us at one point or another has had some chance to plan or had played some role in planning a fundraising event for your school. And sanitary permit fees, as the primary author stated, although minimal on the government scale, you're talking $60 to $100 for one event perhaps. For schools and for fundraising events where the profit is already minimal, that is a lot. That is anywhere from 10 to 20 tickets that you have to sell just to cover a fee to be able to sell at your fundraiser. And as someone that has history in student government, in putting on large-scale fundraisers, those costs add up when you are the organizer of an event and you have multiple student organizations wanting to be a part of your event, but are unable to do so because they don't have the necessary sanitary permit. As a matter of fact, I'll give you an anecdote. I recently had the privilege to organize the Charter Day that was conducted last year in March, and every student organization that was selling food at Charter Day, all of the booths that were there, ran by students, led by students, needed to have a sanitary permit. And as the student government associations, we don't charge a fee for our students to be able to set up a canopy on the field grounds and benefit from this event. However, we did not also want to ask them, hey, pay $60 to $100, go to DPHSS, fill out this application so that you get a sanitary permit. That is the cost. That cost was shouldered by the Student Government Association, but it came at poor timing and it required reshuffling. It required coordination, and at the end of the day, it cost money. And we benefited from the fact that the Student Government Association has funds dedicated to supporting students. We had funds that we can allocate for this event. We were not relying on this event to generate us money. We were spending money to hold this event and giving the opportunities for students to make money. However, not every fundraising event operates at that capacity. All fundraising events is set up for one purpose: to make money for our students who are trying to buy new supplies, buy new equipment, go off island, represent our island on the national stage in sports, in educational competitions and whatnot. However, they are unable to do so because they're not making enough with the fundraisers that they're holding. And on top of that, they have to pay a fee to make sure they can even hold the event in the first place. Selling food, of course, will require you to make sure that you are handling it properly and safely, because this is something that that people are consuming. But at the end of the day, waiving the fees is something that DPHSS is able to do, as the fiscal note that was filed for this bill says, and as the primary author of this resolution has stated, $3,000 is chump change for the government of Guam, to be quite honest with you. But for schools and for students, that's a lot of money. That's a plane ticket to send a student off island to represent this island. That is equipment, that is uniforms for an entire sports team. And so, again, I rise in strong support of this resolution. I think that this resolution sends a clear signal to the legislature that the youth is standing united behind this bill, because this is an example of a bill that has immediate impacts for students. And we often talk about improving our education system, but part of what comes with that, aside from the academics of it all, is the student life. You want students to want to go to school. You want students to want to have fun, to enjoy it with their friends, to get involved in things like the Guam Youth Congress, Student Government Association, clubs, organizations, because that leads them to making friends, that leads them to finding their passion, and that leads them to being able to have really great opportunities. And again, at the forefront of that is money. At the forefront of that, it's fundraising. These are initiatives that our students are putting forth to be fiscally responsible, to make sure that they are funding the events that they want to host, do the activities that they want to have, and that they don't have to rely on donations from their parents. They don't have to rely on donations from the community, solicitations from local businesses, solicitation from community members. They want to make their own money, so let's make it easier on them to do that. Let's make it easier for them to have that sense of responsibility. And I stand in strong support of this resolution. I think it sends a clear signal to the Guam legislature that these are impacts that students are feeling, and we want to make sure that we are contributing to the solution. And I commend Senator Borja for introducing this bill on behalf of the youth. And I ask for my colleagues to support in this resolution to make sure we send a clear signal that we want this bill to pass. Jesus Masi.
Jesus Masi, Secretary Guerrero. Are there any other representatives wishing to speak on the resolution? Representative Pobletti, you are recognized.
Mr. Speaker, I would like to make a motion to go into recess.
There has been a motion by Representative Pobletti to go into a brief recess. Are there any objections? Hearing seen none, the motion carries. The 35th Guam Youth Congress is back from recess. Representative Pobletti, you still have the floor.
Hafide, Mr. Speaker, I would like to make some changes to the legislation. So recently, the Committee on Health amended the bill. Instead of saying student-led fundraisers, they did student support. So I would like to make, notwithstanding any House rules, I would like to make some changes when this bill goes through engrossment. So the title of the bill, it says, relative to expressing the strong support of Mima Chanta Sinkanu na Congressional Mahoban Wahan, the 35th Guam Youth Congress for Bill number 215-38, relative to waiving sanitary permit fees for student-led. So instead of student-led, I would like to change it to student support fundraisers. And then lastly, notwithstanding any House rules, I would like to make another change for engrossment on page 3, line 15. Resolve that email, wait, I'm so sorry. Line 15, it says 215-38 COR, relative to waiving sanitary permit fees for student-led fundraisers. And I would like to make a change to say student support. And that concludes my motion. Thank you.
There has been a motion to change lines in the bill. Are there any objections? Hearing or seeing none, the motion carries. Are there any other representatives wishing to speak on the bill? Representative Poblete, you are recognized.
Hafaday colleagues, I rise in strong support of this resolution, expressing the Guam Youth Congress support for Bill 215-38 COR relative to waiving sanitary permit fees for student support fundraisers. Just like what Representative Guerrero stated, today many students are forced to fundraise simply to pay sanitary permit fees, money that should instead be used for uniforms, travel, equipment, classroom supplies, graduations, and service projects. These fees were designed for commercial vendors, not for student organizations that operate as nonprofit volunteer-led groups. This bill maintains all public health and safety requirements while removing an unnecessary financial burden on students and their families. It recognizes that student fundraisers are about learning, leadership, and opportunity, not profit. For these reasons, I urge the 38th Guam Legislature to pass Bill number 215-38 and expand opportunities for student organizations across Guam. Thank you.
Sizos Masi, Representative Poblete. Are there any other representatives wishing to speak on the bill? Hearing or seeing none, Speaker Fortuno, you are free to close on your motion.
Sizos Masi, Mr. Vice Speaker, and just want to take this moment as well to thank and recognize Secretary Guerrero of Dededo and Representative Poblete of Chalampago Ordot for their meaningful remarks in support of the legislation and for the thoughtful amendments to improve the legislation. And at this time, Mr. Vice Speaker, I move to place resolution number 21-35 COR as amended into the third reading file for voting.
My apologies. We're going to go ahead and go into a brief recess just to clear up some issues.
Alrighty.
The 35th Guam Youth Congress is back from recess. Speaker Fortuno, you still have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Speaker. I'm going to retract that motion for a moment to entertain, to move that Representative Caden Poblete of Chalampago Ordot be added as a co-sponsor, as well as all other representatives present and voting for this session.
There's been a motion to place all representatives present today as a co-sponsor of the resolution. Are there any objections? Hearing or seeing none, the motion carries. Speaker Fortuno, you are recognized.
Sizos Masi, Mr. Vice Speaker, at this time, I move to place resolution number 21-35 COR as amended by the committee and further amended on the floor into the third reading file for voting.
Sizos Masi, Speaker Fortuno, on that motion to place resolution 21-35 COR as amended into the third reading file for voting, are there any objections? Hearing or seeing none, the motion carries. Speaker Fortuno, Dededo, you are recognized on your next motion.
Sizos Masi, Mr. Vice Speaker. Mr. Vice Speaker, I move to place into the third reading file resolution number 22-35 COR as amended by the Committee on Law Enforcement, Emergency Management, Municipalities, and Federal Military and Regional Affairs, introduced by myself, Austin G. Fortuno, Trevin Atoigui, Nathan I. Paz, Nicole Therese Guerrero, Grace Ann S. De La Cruz, Brian Andrew Teodosio, Charlie B. Balbastro, Gubin Su, Alexander Cruz, Siana Santos, Yakshin Liu, Micah Janelle Imbot, and Anthony Joseph E. Charfris relative to expressing the strong support of Imina 35 na Kongreso Manhoban Guahan, the 35th Guam Youth Congress, for House Resolution 6472, or the Territorial Student Access to Higher Education Act, to amend the Higher Education Act of 1965 to provide for in-state tuition rates for certain residents of Guam, the Commonwealth of Northern Mariana Islands, American Samoa, and the United States Virgin Islands, introduced in the 119th United States Congress, and emphasizing the critical need to expand access to affordable higher education for residents of the United States territories, especially in Guam, and a request to be given the opportunity to speak on the motion.
Please proceed, Speaker Fortuno.
Mr. Jusmasi, Mr. Vice Speaker. Mr. Vice Speaker, I rise today to introduce resolution number 22-35 COR, expressing the strong support of this body for House Resolution 6472, the Territorial Student Access to Higher Education Act. Mr. Vice Speaker, this resolution serves a critical purpose. It formally communicates the voice of Guam's youth to the United States Congress, highlighting the unique circumstances faced by our students in the territories and urging action to expand access to higher education. Through these measures, Mr. Vice Speaker, we ensure that the perspectives of young people, those who will shape Guam's future, are included in the federal discussion. Before I go on, I would like to share a personal experience that illustrates why this matter is so important. In the summer of 2024, Mr. Vice Speaker, through a program serving Asian American and Pacific Islander youth, I had the privilege of serving as a congressional intern in the office of Congressman Jimmy Gomez of California's 34th District in the House of Representatives. I was one of only 3 persons from Guam serving in that program. And during my 3 months in Washington, D.C., I grew deeply invested in the idea of pursuing a law and public policy degree at some of the nation's top schools. Institutions like George Washington University, American University, Georgetown University, and the Catholic University of America. However, as exciting as these aspirations were, they came hand in hand with the reality of out-of-state tuition. The financial barriers were significant, and for many territorial students, Mr. Vice Speaker, these dreams remain at the back of the mind rather than at the forefront. House Resolution 6472 is a step forward toward leveling the playing field so that territorial students can pursue these opportunities without being disproportionately burdened financially. Similarly, I recall the pride I felt when walking across the stage at my own college graduation, earning a bachelor's degree. Many of the students graduating with me were the first in their families to reach that milestone. I remember the pride, the sense of accomplishment, and the realization that years of dedication had come to fruition. On Guam, Mr. Vice Speaker, countless students aspire to experience that same moment, walking across the stage as the first in their family to earn a degree, ready to serve our island as future doctors, lawyers, engineers, nurses, educators, and other professionals. Yet for many, financial barriers, especially when pursuing graduate or terminal degrees out of state, make that goal seem distant or unattainable. Mr. Vice Speaker, we have heard directly from students across Guam about these challenges. Aspiring doctors delaying entry into medical school because federal aid does not cover out-of-state tuition. Students accepted into law and professional programs unsure if they can afford to attend. You have young people working multiple jobs to support college expenses and families who are struggling to support multiple children in higher education at the same time. These are real experiences, Mr. Vice Speaker, that affect the future workforce and well-being of our island. One of the most tangible benefits of in-state tuition is financial. Students from Guam currently pay significantly higher rates to attend public universities in the continental United States. By receiving in-state tuition, Mr. Vice Speaker, a territorial student can save tens of thousands of dollars over the course of an undergraduate or professional degree. These savings reduce the need for student loans, allow students to focus on their student studies instead of juggling multiple jobs, and increase the likelihood that they can complete their degrees on time. In short, in-state tuition makes higher education accessible, reduces financial stress, and allows students to plan a career that can ultimately benefit Guam without being burdened by overwhelming debt. Mr. Vice Speaker, House Resolution 6472, introduced by Guam's Congressman James C. Moylan, amends the Higher Education Act of 1965 to provide in-state tuition rates to residents of Guam, the Northern Mariana Islands, American Samoa, and the United States Virgin Islands. This legislation has already been heard and reported favorably out of the House Committee on Education and Workforce, chaired by Congressman Tim Walberg, and we are grateful to Chairman Walberg for his leadership in advancing this legislation, and we thank Congressman Moylan and his colleagues of the United States territories who have co-sponsored this bill. Their bipartisan support demonstrates that equitable access to higher education for territorial students is recognized and valued nationwide. Importantly, Mr. Vice Speaker, House Resolution 6472 complements locally adopted programs here in Guam, such as the Barada Act and the Jesus U. Torres Professional and Technical Awards, or better known as the ProTech Award, which already encourages Guam students to pursue advanced degrees in high-need fields and return home to strengthen Guam's workforce and economic resilience. By reducing out-of-state tuition barriers, House Resolution 6472 strengthens these local initiatives through lesser expenses paid out of our local fund, helping students complete their degrees and bring their skills back to the island, and filling critical gaps in healthcare, law, engineering, education, and other professional fields. Mr. Vice Speaker, this legislation is about more than just tuition. It is about the opportunity and ensuring that students can pursue their professional dreams while remaining connected to their families in Guam. By reducing financial barriers, House Resolution 6472 makes it easier for students from Guam to walk across the stage with their own degrees, to be the first in their families to fulfill their professional aspirations, and to return home as the next generation of doctors, lawyers, engineers, nurses, and other essential professionals. As stated earlier, Mr. Vice Speaker, in Congreso Manhoban Guahan, the 35th Guam Youth Congress exists to ensure that the voices of youth are heard in matters that affect our futures. Too often, decisions about education are made without consulting students. But through this resolution, Mr. Vice Speaker, we highlight the real challenges and aspiration of Guam's youth, and we remind policymakers that supporting students today strengthens the workforce and the economy of Guam tomorrow. For these reasons, Mr. Vice Speaker, I respectfully request the support of my colleagues in adopting resolution number 22-35 COR and the transmission of our support to the United States Congress and the President of the United States as House Resolution 6472 continues through the legislative process. By doing so, we affirm that Guam's youth are stakeholders in public policy, support equitable access to higher education, and help ensure that the next generation of professionals can pursue their careers, return home, and strengthen our island for years to come. Sidus Masi, Mr. Vice Speaker.
Sidus Masi, Speaker for Tuno. Colleagues will now go into a brief recess.
We are now back from recess. Members, we are still on remarks regarding resolution number 22-35 COR. Are there any other representatives wishing to be recognized? Vice Speaker Toigui, you are recognized.
Jesus Masi, Floor Leader Paz. I would like to just thank Speaker Fortuno for drafting out this resolution, and I rise today in strong support of resolution number 22-35. This is a resolution about fairness, opportunity, and the future of Guam's youth. Today, students from Guam and other territories are U.S. citizens, yet when they pursue higher education in the States, they are charged out-of-state tuition. That cost is often double or triple what students in the 50 states pay. For many families here, that burden is simply too heavy. We know the reality. Guam has no medical school, no law school, and limited advanced programs. Our young people must leave home to chase their dreams, but too often the price tag forces them to give up or stay away from that dream. This has left us with the shortages of doctors, nurses, lawyers, engineers, and teachers. Families wait months for medical appointments, classrooms lack enough qualified educators, and our legal system struggles to meet demand. House Resolution 6472, the Territorial Student Access to Higher Education Act, would change this. It will guarantee an in-state tuition for the territorial students, opening doors that have long been closed. It will allow our youth to pursue the degrees they need and return home and serve their island. Colleagues, this resolution is not just about the tuition, it is about giving Guam's youth the same chance as any other individual. America, it is about investing in our future, strengthening our workforce, and ensuring that our island can meet the needs of its people. I urge every one of my colleagues to join me in supporting resolution number 22-35 so that the voices of Guam's youth and all the other U.S. territories are heard in Washington, and so that our young people can thrive here at home. I'd like to also share that I had the opportunity to meet with Congressman Moylan, his wife, and several of his staff at his office to discuss this bill that he was going to introduce. And I'm so glad that I did, because I got the opportunity to see firsthand what he was about to introduce and to share it with all of you today. So once again, I strongly urge my colleagues today to vote yes for this resolution, to show that we here, Guam's youth leaders, are fighting for Guam's future, and we are ensuring that Guam's youth can have a brighter future. Cesar Masi, Mr. Floor Leader, pause.
Right. Thank you, Vice Speaker Otoigui. Are there any other representatives wishing to speak? Okay, I'll go ahead and recognize Representative Kalimlim first.
Thank you, Mr. Floor Leader. I rise in strong support of this resolution. The disadvantages for us in the United States territories hinders us from advancing higher education, whether that be in specialized degrees not available in Guam or professional graduate schools like law school and medical school. I have many peers and classmates who have big dreams and aspire to become the future doctors, lawyers, and young professionals of our island. However, the cost of college is a huge burden, as well as the cost of transportation. This resolution highlights the importance of education for our constituents, the youth of Guam, and our brothers and sisters in the other United States territories. This resolution would especially seek to support us, the youth of the territories, a better chance at obtaining an advanced education and transition better to their first year of education outside their home territories. Thank you.
Cesar Masi, Representative Kalimlim. Are there any other representatives wishing to speak on the resolution? Representative Munoz, you're recognized.
Hafaday. As a high school senior currently navigating the daunting processes of college applications, I rise in strong support of resolution number 22-35 because it directly addresses the financial strains and systemic barriers facing students in the territories. For so many of us, the dream of becoming a doctor, lawyer, or engineer, which are positions that can greatly help improve our island, feels so out of reach when federal financial aid fails to cover the high out-of-state tuition rates at public universities across the nation. Mandating in-state tuition for residents of Guam and other territories, ensuring that a pursuit of higher education doesn't result in large debt or force us to leave our island permanently. By removing these financial hurdles, we empower our youth to gain the specialized skills needed to return home and fill critical workforce shortages in healthcare and public safety. Thank you.
Cesar Masi, Representative Munoz. Are there any other representatives wishing to speak? Representative Suba, you're recognized.
Hafaday colleagues, I rise in support of this bill, or of this resolution, as my fellow classmates and peers face issues of having strong interests in careers and have potential to be amazing, but face the fact that they just do not have enough money to pursue said career. Scholarships exist for schools, but those scholarships have you compete with students throughout the world. With this resolution, it levels the playing field to kids who grew up here and don't get enough recognition because they are on an island in the middle of the Pacific. I strongly believe in building a better future for Guam, and I notice that several peers are always talking about escaping this island or trying to find a way out. From a personal experience, I believe that the main reason they say this is because we aren't putting enough trust into the youth. With this resolution, it gives those pursuing not only a great career, but a career that they can come back to to the place they call home. With that, I strongly support this resolution.
Caesars Mossy, Representative Suba. Are there any other representatives wishing to speak? Representative Teodosio, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Speaker. I rise in support of this measure and would like to commend the author for introducing this resolution and Congressman Moreland for shedding light on this issue. Speaking as a representative of my university and as a current student, I have seen firsthand how limited higher education access is, especially for those who want to go to graduate school. While UUG has made significant progress in providing many degree programs over the years, there are certain fields that students want to pursue at the University of Guam, but are simply not available here on this island, but they are at the mainland, such as medicine, law, and many PhD programs. I'm actually going to be graduating this May, so for students like me, leaving Guam to pursue these paths often means facing tuition rates that are far beyond what most students can afford. My fellow colleague from the University of Guam, Representative Dela Cruz, even noted in the committee hearing for this resolution that some people even change their residency to move off-island to receive in-state tuition at off-island colleges. And yes, for most students, UUG will continue to be the most accessible and affordable choice because they are able to live at home, stay connected to their families, and benefit from UUG's affordable tuition. But this shouldn't come at the cost of protecting enrollment. And protecting enrollment should never come at the expense of fairness and opportunity for students. So I believe that this legislation does not create a new incentive to leave, but it only removes an unfair financial obstacle from being in a U.S. territory. Supporting this resolution is about giving Guam's youth a real chance to succeed and eventually return home to contribute to our local workforce, which is already lacking the mentioned fields, the essential fields needed to move our island forward. So I kindly ask my colleagues to please support this resolution. Thank you.
Caesars Mossy, Representative Teodosio. Are there any other representatives wishing to speak? Representative Albasho, you're recognized.
Manana si Jules, Mr. Vice Speaker, almost good after morning. I'm in true support of this resolution, number 22-35, amending the Higher Education Act of 1965, providing in-state tuition rates for residents of the islands, including Guam, CNMI, American Samoa, and other United States territories associated with the U.S. Applying for tuitions in higher institutions are complicated for some residents in territories due to financial struggles and corrupted benefits, as mentioned previously. This piece of legislation will surely benefit many residents that want to pursue in higher education as part of their future goals and aspirations. Pursuing a workforce that requires the highest expectations and knowledge really takes the challenge to what needs to be brought forth to come into play with this legislation. Students that are inspired doctors, lawyers, educators, such as teachers, administrators, and counselors, and many more trained professions that require higher knowledge and professional degrees that are facing these challenges of getting financial tuition assistance. On behalf of this legislation, students with high professions are needing these benefits immediately. This shall never stop, and we must continue forward. We don't want any financial problems spiking to the individual. This assistance needs to be proposed now. It shouldn't wait, and it shouldn't take too long. Students will surely support this legislation as well as all of us, as we are the future generations for Guam and elsewhere across the world. We need to be inspired to be the better role models that we can ever become and not find it hard to struggle in financial hardships. I hope this legislation passes on the session floor and is forwarded to the whole community of the United States territories, including the education world. Thank you so much for the pleasure of strong support for Resolution 22-35 and si Jules Basi, Mr. Vice Speaker.
Cesar Masi, Representative Balbasho. Are there any other representatives wishing to speak? Representative Charfish, you're recognized.
Buenos day, everyone. Today I stand to give my support of this resolution. Like many students from this island, I grew up being told that education is the key to opportunity. We are taught to work hard, to aim high, and to believe that because we are U.S. citizens, the doors of this country are open to us. But for our students from Guam and the other U.S. territories, that promise is never fully matched. For us, higher education doesn't always, but often does require leaving home. Guam does not have the same range of degree programs, research institutions, or professional pathways that exist on the mainland. Do not get this wrong. This is not bashing the University of Guam and the Guam Community College. But if we want to pursue certain careers, medicine, law, specialized sciences, we have to travel thousands of miles away from our families, cultures, and support systems. And when we get there, we face another barrier, the tuition. Despite being U.S. citizens, territorial students are almost always classified as out-of-state students. That means higher tuition, fewer scholarships, and more debt, simply because of where we were born, not because of where we chose to live abroad. Not because we are international students, but because we come from an American territory. The Territorial Student Access to Higher Education Act addresses this inequity. This bill recognizes a simple truth. Students from U.S. territory should not be financially punished for pursuing education within their own country. Granting in-state tuition eligibility does not create special treatment, it creates fairness. For students from Guam, this legislation will be transformative. Many of us come from families where paying out-of-state tuition is not an option. We work multiple jobs, we take on debt that will follow us for decades, and some students never enroll at all, not because they lack talent or ambition, but because the cost of everything is impossible. This bill expands access. It turns college from a distant dream into a real possibility. It also benefits our communities. When students from Guam are able to earn degrees, we bring those skills home into our classrooms, hospitals, government offices, and local businesses. We reinvest into our community. Investing in territorial students is not a loss to the states. It is an investment in the broader American workforce and future. Most importantly, this legislation affirms our place in this nation. Territorial students already serve in the U.S. military, pay federal taxes, and contribute to American society. Educational access should reflect the same level of inclusion and respect. Supporting the Territorial Student Access to Higher Education Act means recognizing that opportunity should not depend on geography. It means acknowledging that American citizenship should carry equal weight whether you're born in a state or a territory. As a student from Guam, I'm not asking for charity, but I am asking for equity. For a chance to learn, to grow, and to contribute without being held back by barriers that should have never existed in the first place. So once again, I thank the main author of this resolution, Speaker Fortuno, and I thank Congressman Moylan and the other territorial delegates. Thank you very much.
Cesar Masi, Representative Charfez. Are there any other representatives wishing to speak on the resolution? Secretary Guerrero, you're recognized.
Sizuos Masi, Mr. Vice Speaker. I also rise in strong support of Resolution 22-35, and I commend the author for introducing it, as well to our delegate, Delegate Moylan, for introducing House Resolution 6472. As a lot of my colleagues have spoken about the importance of the bill, I'd like to give you a personal anecdote. In 2021, I graduated from high school. I had aspirations of going to an off-island university, primarily because I wanted to pursue a law degree, and there was not a lot of programs that would feed me into law programs after undergrad. However, I received a call that I received a merit scholarship for the University of Guam. That alone and the scholarship that secured my payments for a 4-year institution was the decision of why I stayed on Guam. Not because I did not want to go off island, not because I did not apply to off-island colleges, but because as I was doing my research and looking at the cost of off-island colleges, I could not afford to do so. I could barely afford to attend the University of Guam had I not received that scholarship. And so this resolution and this House resolutions introduced by Delegate Moylan is significant for students like me who have had the opportunity to go to an off-island college but has had to turn it down because they could not afford to do so. That is one of the most heartbreaking things that you can do, is to know that you have ambition and to know that you have the talent to go far, but unfortunately, the economic realities that you face, the high cost of higher education simply is not attainable, especially for people, for the youth of Guam. Again, I graduated from the University of Guam in 2024, and once again, I'm looking at off-island schools. I have aspirations to apply to law school, and the first thing I click on every website is how much are tuitions? How much are tuitions for off-island residents like myself who is not able to afford to stay 1 year in the mainland to gain residency for these schools. I have to look at the tuition before I can even think about applying. This represents a significant step to making sure that future students do not have to go through the same struggle, do not have to go through the same thought process as I did. The youth of Guam, our youth need to be focused on, what do I want to do in life? What do I want to pursue? How do I get there? How do I get into this college? What is my next steps after that? How do I pursue a professional degree? How do I pursue a specific career that I want to choose? It should not be, how do I afford to go to an off-island college? How do I afford to obtain higher education? We often speak about the importance of higher education. Go to college, go get a degree. You'll get paid more after college. You will be qualified for more job opportunities after college. However, we need to face the reality that higher education is becoming more and more inaccessible for many people, especially when you're talking about an island where majority of our people are low to middle income. Many students that I met at the University of Guam could barely afford the University of Guam. Imagine them going off island to pursue a degree that is not offered on our island. Our island has made great strides when it comes to our educational offering for higher education. But let's be honest, there is still more work that needs to be done. And many students want to pursue degrees that is just not available here. But they're forced to stay here and choose a degree they either did not want to do, is close enough, or just not go to college at all because they could not go to a school that has that offering. So this resolution in support of the House resolution introduced by Delegate Moylan is the youth of Guam emphasizing the importance of higher education, emphasizing the need to make accessibility to higher education an equitable process. It is not fair for the youth of Guam, not only because we are not located in the continental United States, we are thousands of miles away. A flight alone to Hawaii is $2,000. Many of us could not even afford the flight, let alone thousands of dollars in out-of-state tuition. That is one of the greatest challenges that we face coming from an island that is disconnected from the continental United States. But also, let's face it, we have one accredited 4-year university here on this island. We have a community college here on this island. The offerings on this island do not even match the offerings that is available to other states. And so this is not a handout. This is not special treatment. This is recognizing that people from Guam have different limitations that have prevented youth for decades to pursue off-island education. And it's making sure that we have just as much of an opportunity to pursue higher education without unnecessary costs being a factor. It doesn't grant us free tuition to any public institution in the continental US just like that. We still would require them to pay in-state tuition. The difference is that you're now not paying 10 grand more per semester because you're out of state, because you were born on an island and you were born under circumstances that you cannot control, or you moved to this island. At the end of the day, it's not a handout. This is about making sure that we are equitable in opportunities, and making sure that the youth of Guam have just as much opportunities to pursue higher education and to pursue a better future. And so I rise in strong support of this resolution, and I urge my colleagues to do the same as well. Situs Masi.
Sisus Masi, Secretary Guerrero. Are there any other representatives wishing to speak on the resolution? Hearing or seeing none, Speaker Fortuno, you're welcome to close on your motion.
Situs Masi, Mr. Vice Speaker. Before I reiterate my motion, I wanted to again take the opportunity to thank my colleagues for their words of support on this critical resolution. Representative Kalimlim, Representative Suba, Representative Munoz, Representative Teodosio, Representative Albastro, Representative Charfris, Secretary Guerrero. Your remarks embody the thoughts of this body, but also the youth of Guam, right? We understand the experience when it comes to pursuing higher education, and we want to be better. We want to push the fold. We want to push forward. And with this introduction of this House resolution, hopefully making its way through the United States Congress, onto the President's desk, and into becoming law, we could really make a difference in the lives of so many people who not just reside here on Guam, but across the United States territories. It's about bridging ambition with purpose and bridging that purpose with ability, right? We all want to be better. We want to create an educated workforce, and it starts with forward-thinking solutions like this. With that in mind, I move, Mr. Vice Speaker, to have Representative Kalimlim, Representative Munoz, and Representative Suba to be added as co-sponsors to the resolution, followed by all members present and voting for this session.
There has been a motion to add all representatives present today as a co-sponsor of Resolution 22-35 COR. Are there any objections? Hearing or seeing none, the motion carries. Speaker Fortuno, you still have the floor.
Situs Masi, Mr. Vice Speaker. At this critical juncture, I move to place resolution number 22-35 COR as amended by the committee and further amended on the floor into the third reading file for voting.
Situs Masi, Speaker Fortuno. On that motion to place resolution 22-35 COR as amended into the third reading file for voting, are there any objections? Hearing or seeing none, the motion carries. Colleagues, that exhausts all items under item number 15, the second reading file. We are now on agenda item number 16, the second roll call. Madam Clerk, please proceed with the second roll call.
Representative Al Cairo of Simon Sanchez High School. Representative Al Cairo, absent. Representative Anguilo of Guam High School. Representative Anguilo, present. Oh. My apologies, Mr. Vice Speaker. Representative Al Cairo of Simon Sanchez High School is present. Vice Speaker Otoygui of Tamuning Tuman Harmon. Vice Speaker Otoygui, present. Representative Balbastro of Hoggett. Representative Balbastro, present. Representative Blas of Chalan Pago Ordot. Representative Blas, absent. Representative Kalimlim of Okudu High School. Representative Kalimlim, present. Representative Cha of Mongmong Toto Maiti. Representative Cha, absent. Representative Sharfurus of Mangilao. Representative Sharfurus, present. Representative Cruz of Father Dueñas Memorial School. Representative Cruz, absent. Representative Cruz of Simon Sanchez High School. Representative Cruz, absent. Representative Dela Cruz of the University of Guam. Representative Dela Cruz, absent. Representative Fernandez of Notre Dame High School. Representative Fernandez, present. Speaker Fortuno of Dededo. Speaker Fortuno, present. Assistant Floor Leader Guerrero of Dededo. Assistant Floor Leader Guerrero, present. Representative Hoffman of Sinahanya. Representative Hoffman, present. Representative Imbat of Ukuru High School. Representative Imbat, present. Representative Kim of Harvest Christian Academy. Representative Kim, absent. Representative Kodian Plako of Tamuning Tumon Harmon. Representative Kodian Plako, absent. Representative Leon Guerrero of Academy of Our Lady of Guam. Representative Leon Guerrero, present. Representative Liu of Dedado. Representative Liu, absent. Representative Munoz of John F. Kennedy High School. Representative Munoz, present. Representative Ng of Jotnya. Representative Ng, absent. Representative O of Maleso. Representative O, absent. Floor Leader Paz of Jigo. Floor Leader Paz, present. Representative Pobletti of Chalan Pago Ordot. Representative Pobletti, present. Representative Puzon of Barrigada. Representative Puzon, present. Representative Rosario of Business and Technology Academy Charter School. Representative Rosario, absent. Representative Santos of Tamuning Tumon Harmon. Representative Santos, absent. Representative Santos of the University of Guam. Representative Santos, absent. Representative Suba of John F. Kennedy High School. Representative Suba, present. Representative Sa of St. John's School. Representative Sa, absent. Representative Teodosio of the University of Guam. Representative Teodosio, present. Representative Yang of Manilao. Representative Yang, present. Mr. Vice Speaker, you have quorum.
Scissors Mossy, Madam Clerk. We're now going to go into a brief recess to give some time for our clerk to prepare for the consideration of the daily file. We'll now take a short recess.
Hello, colleagues. The 35th Guam Youth Congress is called back to order. We are now in agenda item number 17, the consideration of the daily file. We will now proceed with the third reading file. Madam Deputy Clerk, please read the title for Bill number 17-35 COR.
Bill number 17-35 COR, introduced by Sujin Oh, is an act to add a new section 21120 to Chapter 21, Title 19, Guam Code Annotated, to establish the Guam Youth Internship Development Program under the Department of Youth Affairs.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Clerk. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Representative Al Cairo of Simon Sanchez High School. Representative Al Cairo, aye. Representative Angulo of Guam High School. Representative Angulo of Guam High School, aye. Vice Speaker Otogi of Tamuning Tumon Harmon. Vice Speaker Otogi, aye. Representative Babastro of Hagat. Representative Babastro, aye. Representative Kalimlim of Ukudu High School. Representative Kalimlim, aye. Representative Sharfers of Mangilao. Representative Sharfers, aye. Representative Fernandez of Notre Dame High School. Representative Fernandez, aye. Speaker Fortuno of Dededo. Speaker Fortuno, aye. Secretary Guerrero of Dededo. Secretary Guerrero, aye. Representative Hoffman of Sinahanya. Representative Hoffman, aye. Representative Imbat of Ukudu High School. Representative Imbat, aye. Representative Leon Guerrero of Academy of Our Lady of Guam. Representative Leon Guerrero, aye. Representative Munoz of John F. Kennedy High School. Representative Munoz, aye. Floor Leader Paz of Jigo. Floor Leader Paz, aye. Representative Pobletti of Chalan Pago Ordot. Representative Pobletti, aye. Representative Puzon of Barragata. Representative Puzon, aye. Representative Suba of John F. Kennedy High School. Representative Suba, aye. Representative Teodosio of the University of Guam. Representative Teodosio, aye. Representative Yang of Mangilao. Representative Yang, aye.
Sidus Masi, Madam Clerk. Bill number 17-35 COR received 19 ayes, 0 nays, 14 excused. Bill number 17-35 COR is duly passed by this body. Congratulations, Representative O. Madam Deputy Clerk, please read the title for Bill number 18-35 COR.
Bill number 18-35 COR, introduced by Sujin Oh, is an act to add a new section 77135 to Chapter 77, Title 21, Guam Code Annotated, to establish the Adoptive Village Park Partnership Act, enabling mayors, the Guam Youth Congress, student groups, and non-governmental organizations to adopt and maintain public parks with annual grants to support community beautification and tourism enhancement.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Clerk. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Representative Al Cairo of Simon Sanchez High School. Representative Al Cairo, aye. Representative Angulo of Guam High School. Representative Angulo, aye. Vice Speaker Otogi of Tamuning Tumon Harmon. Vice Speaker Otogi, aye. Representative Babastro of Hagat. Representative Babastro, aye. Representative Kalimlim of Ukudu High School. Representative Kalimlim, aye. Representative Sharfers of Mangilao. Representative Sharfers, aye. Representative Fernandez of Notre Dame High School. Representative Fernandez, aye. Speaker Fortuno of Dededo. Speaker Fortuno, passed. Secretary Guerrero of Dededo. Secretary Guerrero, nay. Representative Hoffman of Sinahanya. Representative Hoffman, aye. Representative Imbat of Okudu High School. Representative Imbat, aye. Representative Leon Guerrero of Academy of Our Lady of Guam. Representative Leon Guerrero, aye. Representative Munoz of John F. Kennedy High School. Representative Munoz, aye. Floor Leader Paz of Jigo. Floor Leader Paz, pass. Representative Pobletti of Chalan Pago Ordot. Representative Pobletti, pass. Representative Puzon of Barragata. Representative Puzon, aye. Representative Suba of John F. Kennedy High School. Representative Suba, aye. Representative Teodosio of the University of Guam. Representative Teodosio, pass. Representative Yang of Maguilao. Representative Yang, aye. Speaker Fortuno, nay. Floor Leader Paz of Jigo. Floor Leader Paz, aye. Representative Pobletti. Aye. Representative Pobletti, aye. Representative Teodosio. Representative Teodosio, aye.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Let the record show that Representative Yang voted in the negative. The bill number 18-35 COR received 16 ayes, 3 nays, 14 excused. Bill number 18-35 COR is duly passed by this body. Congratulations, Representative O. Madam Deputy Clerk, please read the title for Bill number 19-35 COR.
Bill number 19-35 COR, introduced by Sujin O, is an act to add a new section 77134 to Chapter 77, Title 21, Guam Code Annotated to establish the Guam Youth Tourism Ambassador Program, to train students as volunteer tourism ambassadors and support the development of Guam's tourism industry.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Clerk. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Representative Al Cairo of Simon Sanchez High School. Representative Al Cairo, pass. Representative Angulo of Guam High School. Representative Angulo, pass. Vice Speaker Otogui of Tamuning Tumon Harmon. Vice Speaker Otogui, pass. Representative Balbastro of Hogat. Representative Balbastro, pass. Representative Kalimlim of Okudu High School. Representative Kalimlim, aye. Representative Sharfus of Maguilao. Representative Sharfus, aye. Representative Fernandez of Notre Dame High School. Representative Fernandez, aye. Speaker Fortuno of Dededo. Speaker Fortuno, nay. Secretary Guerrero of Dededo. Secretary Guerrero, nay. Representative Hoffman of Sinahanya. Representative Hoffman, aye. Representative Imbat of Ukudu High School. Representative Imbat, aye. Representative Leon Guerrero of Academy of Our Lady of Guam. Representative Leon Guerrero, aye. Representative Munoz of John F. Kennedy High School. Representative Munoz, aye. Floor Leader Paz of Jigo. Floor Leader Paz, aye. Representative Pobletti of Chalan-Pago Ordot. Representative Pobletti, pass. Representative Puzon of Barrigada. Representative Puzon, aye. Representative Suba of John F. Kennedy High School. Representative Suba, aye. Representative Teodosio of the University of Guam. Representative Teodosio, nay. Representative Yang of Maguilao. Representative Yang, nay. Representative Al Cairo. Representative Al Cairo, pass. Representative Angulo. Representative Angulo, pass. Vice Speaker Otogui. Vice Speaker Otogui abstained. Representative Balbastro. Representative Balbastro, aye. Representative Pobletti. Representative Pobletti, pass. Vice Speaker Otoigui, you cannot abstain. Pass. Okay. Vice Speaker Otogui, pass. Representative Al Cairo. Representative Al Cairo, aye. Representative Angulo. Representative Angulo, nay. Vice Speaker Otoigui, nay. Vice Speaker Otoigui, nay. Representative Pobleti. Representative Pobleti, aye.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Bill number 19-35 COR received 13 ayes, 6 nays, 14 excused. Bill number 19-35 COR is duly passed by this body. Congratulations, Representative O. Just for the awareness of the body, the pass only gives you the opportunity to think it through, but a third pass constitutes a nay vote pursuant to our rules. So just keep that in mind. So we're going to continue on. Madam Deputy Clerk, please read the title for Bill number 7-35 COR.
Bill number 7-35 COR, introduced by Brian Andrew Teodoso, is an act to add a new Article 15 to Chapter 77, Title 12, Guam Code Annotated, relative to providing tax credits to businesses who pay off educational expenses for their employees, to be known as the Employee Investment Act of 2026.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Clerk. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Representative Al Cairo of Simon Sanchez High School. Representative Al Cairo, aye. Representative Angulo of Guam High School. Representative Angulo, aye. Vice Speaker Otoigui of Tumuning Tumon Harmon. Vice Speaker Otoigui, aye. Representative Balbastro of Hoggett. Representative Balbastro, aye. Representative Kalimlim of Ukudu High School. Representative Kalimlim, aye. Representative Sharfers of Mangilao. Representative Sharfers, aye. Representative Fernandez of Notre Dame High School. Representative Fernandez, aye. Speaker Fortuna of Dededo.
Pass.
Speaker Fortuna, pass. Secretary Guerrero of Dededo. Secretary Guerrero, aye. Representative Hoffman of Sinahanya. Representative Hoffman, aye. Representative Imbat of Ukudu High School. Representative Imbat, aye. Representative Leon Guerrero of Academy of Our Lady of Guam. Representative Leon Guerrero, aye. Representative Munoz of John F. Kennedy High School. Representative Munoz, aye. Floor Leader Paz of Jigo. Floor Leader Paz, aye. Representative Pobleti of Chalan Pago Ordad. Representative Pobleti, aye. Representative Puzon of Barrigada. Representative Puzon, aye. Representative Suba of John F. Kennedy High School. Representative Suba, aye. Representative Teodosio of the University of Guam. Representative Teodosio, aye. Representative Yang of Mangilao. Representative Yang, aye. Speaker Fortuno of Dededo.
A resounding aye.
Speaker Fortuno, aye.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. The moment that Representative Teodosio has been waiting for. Bill number 7-35 COR received 19 ayes, 0 nays, 14 excused. Bill number 7-35 COR is duly passed by this body. Congratulations on your first bill. All right, Madam Deputy Clerk, please read the title for Bill number 15-35 LS.
Bill number 15-35 LS, introduced by Jordan Kalimlim, is an act to authorize a plebiscite to determine whether the people of Guam support conducting a future political status plebiscite.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Clerk. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Representative Al Cairo of Simon Sanchez High School. Representative Al Cairo, pass. Representative Angulo of Guam High School. Representative Angulo, nay. Vice Speaker Otoigui of Tumuning Tumon Harmon. Vice Speaker Otoigui, pass. Representative Balbastro of Hoggett. Representative Balbastro, pass. Representative Kalimlim of Ukudu High School. Representative Kalimlim, aye. Representative Sharfers of Mangilao. Representative Sharfers, nay. Representative Fernandez of Notre Dame High School. Representative Fernandez, aye. Speaker Fortuno of Dededo. Speaker Fortuno, pass. Secretary Guerrero of Dededo. Secretary Guerrero, pass. Representative Hoffman of Sinajana. Okay. Representative Hoffman of Sinajana, aye. Representative Imbat of Ukudu High School. Representative Imbat, aye. Representative Leon Guerrero of Academy of Our Lady of Guam. Representative Leon Guerrero, aye. Representative Munoz of John F. Kennedy High School. Representative Munoz, pass. Floor Leader Paz of Jigo. Floor Leader Paz, aye. Representative Pobletti of Chalan Palgo Ordot. Representative Pobletti, pass. Representative Puzon of Barragata. Representative Puzon, aye. Representative Suba of John F. Kennedy High School. Representative Suba, nay. Representative Teodosio of the University of Guam. Representative Teodosio, pass. Representative Yang of Mangilao. Representative Yang, nay. Representative Al Cairo. Representative Al Cairo, aye. Vice Speaker Otoigui. Vice Speaker Otoigui, nay. Representative Balbastro. Representative Balbastro, aye. Speaker Fortuno. Speaker Fortuno, pass. Secretary Guerrero. Secretary Guerrero, aye. Representative Munoz. Representative Munoz, pass. Representative Pobletti. Representative Pobletti, pass. Representative Teodosio, pass. Representative Teodosio, pass. Speaker Fortuno. Speaker Fortuno, aye. Representative Munoz. Representative Munoz, aye. Representative Pobletti. Representative Pobletti, nay. Representative Teodosio. Representative Teodosio, aye.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Bill number 15-35 LS received 13 ayes, 6 nays, 14 excused. Bill number 15-35 LS is duly passed by this body. Congratulations, Representative Colonial. Madam Deputy Clerk, please read the title for Bill number 16-35 COR.
Bill number 16-35 COR, introduced by Sofia Leon Guerrero, is an act to repeal and reenact Section 3106 of Chapter 3, Title 3, Guam Code Annotated, relative to implementing automatic voter registration and pre-registration in all public high schools, public charter high schools, the Guam Community College, and the University of Guam, and to cite this act as the Youth Voter Act of 2025.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Clerk. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Representative Al Cairo of Simon Sanchez High School. Representative Al Cairo, aye. Representative Anguilo of Guam High School. Representative Anguilo, aye. Vice Speaker Otoigui of Tamuning Tumon Harmon. Vice Speaker Otoigui, aye. Representative Balbastro of Hoggett. Representative Balbastro, aye. Representative Kalimlim of Ukudu High School. Representative Kalimlim, aye. Representative Sharfers of Mangilao. Representative Sharfers, aye. Representative Fernandez of Notre Dame High School. Representative Fernandez, aye. Speaker Fortuno of Dededo. Speaker Fortuno, aye. Secretary Guerrero of Dededo. Secretary Guerrero, aye. Representative Hoffman of Sinajana. Representative Hoffman, aye. Representative Imbat of Ukudu High School. Representative Imbot, aye. Representative Leon Guerrero of Academy of Our Lady of Guam. Representative Leon Guerrero, aye. Representative Munoz of John F. Kennedy High School. Representative Munoz, aye. Floor Leader Paz of Jigo. Floor Leader Paz, aye. Representative Pobletti of Chalan Pago Ordad. Representative Pobletti, aye. Representative Puzon of Barragata. Representative Puzon, aye. Representative Suba of John F. Kennedy High School. Representative Suba, aye. Representative Teodosio of the University of Guam. Representative Teodosio, aye. Representative Yang of Mangilao. Representative Yang, aye.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Bill number 16-35 COR received 19 ayes, 0 nays, 14 excused. Bill number 16-35 COR is duly passed by this body. Congratulations, Representative Leon Guerrero. Madam Deputy Clerk, please read the title for resolution number 21-35 COR.
Resolution number 21-35 COR, introduced by Austin G. Fortuno, is relative to expressing the strong support of Imina Trentai Cinco na Congresion Manhoben Guahan, the 35th Guam Youth Congress, for Bill number 215-38 COR relative to waiving sanitary permit fees for student-led fundraisers, and urging Imina Trentai Ocho na Legislaturan Guahan, the 38th Guam Legislature, to expeditiously pass this bill to expand opportunities for student organizations across Guam.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Clerk. Let the record show it should say student support fundraisers, as stated earlier. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Representative El Cairo of Simon Sanchez High School. Representative El Cairo, aye. Representative Angulo of Guam High School. Representative Angulo, aye. Vice Speaker Otoigui of Tamuning Tumon Harmon. Vice Speaker Otoigui, aye. Representative Balbastro of Hoggett. Representative Balbastro, aye. Representative Kalimlim of Ukudu High School. Representative Kalimlim, aye. Representative Sharfers of Mangilao. Representative Sharfers, aye. Representative Fernandez of Notre Dame High School. Representative Fernandez, aye. Speaker Fortuno of Dededo. Speaker Fortuno, aye. Secretary Guerrero of Dededo. Secretary Guerrero, aye. Representative Hoffman of Sinahanya. Representative Hoffman, aye. Representative Imbot of Ukudu High School. Okay. Representative Imbot, aye. Representative Leon Guerrero of Academy of Our Lady of Guam. Representative Leon Guerrero, aye. Representative Munoz of John F. Kennedy High School. Representative Munoz, aye. Floor Leader Paz of Jigo. Floor Leader Paz, aye. Representative Pobletti of Chalan Pago Ordad. Representative Pobletti, aye. Representative Puzon of Barragata. Representative Puzon, aye. Representative Suba of John F. Kennedy High School. Representative Suba, aye. Representative Teodosio of the University of Guam. Representative Teodosio, aye. Representative Yang of Mangilao. Representative Yang of Mangilao, aye.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Resolution number 21-35 COR received 19 ayes, 0 nays, 14 excused. Resolution number 21-35 COR is duly passed by this body. Congratulations. Last but not least, Madam Deputy Clerk, please read the title for resolution number 22-35 COR.
Resolution number 22-35 COR, introduced by Austin G. Fortuno, is relative to expressing the strong support of Imina Trentai Cinco na Congresion Manhoben Guahan, the 35th Guam Youth Congress, for H.R. 6472, or the Territorial Student Access to Higher Education Act, to amend the Higher Education Act of 1965 to provide for in-state tuition rates for certain residents of Guam, the Commonwealth of the Northern Marianas Islands, American Samoa, and the United States Virgin Islands, introduced in the 119th United States Congress and emphasizing the critical need to expand access to affordable higher education for residents of the U.S. territories, especially in Guam.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Clerk. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Representative Al Cairo of Simon Sanchez High School. Representative Al Cairo, I. Representative Angulo of Guam High School. Representative Angulo, I. Vice Speaker Otoigui of Tamuning Tumon Harmon. Vice Speaker Otoigui, I. Representative Babastro of Hoggett. Representative Babastro, I. Representative Kalimlim of Ukuru High School. Representative Kalimlim, I. Representative Sharfras of Mangilao. Representative Sharfras, I. Representative Fernandez of Notre Dame High School. Representative Fernandez, I. Speaker Fortuno of Dededo. Speaker Fortuno, I. Secretary Guerrero of Dededo. Secretary Guerrero, I. Representative Hoffman of Sinohanya. Representative Hoffman, I. Representative Imbot of Ukuru High School. Representative Imbot, I. Representative Leon Guerrero of Academy of Our Lady of Guam. Representative Leon Guerrero, I. Representative Munoz of John F. Kennedy High School. Representative Munoz, I. Floor Leader Paz of Jigo. Floor Leader Paz, I. Representative Pobletti of Chalan-Pago Ordot. Representative Pobletti, I. Representative Puzon of Barragata. Representative Puzon, I. Representative Suba of John F. Kennedy High School. Representative Suba, I. Representative Teodosio of the University of Guam. Representative Teodosio, I. Representative Yang of Mangilao. Representative Yang of Mangilao, I.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Resolution number 22-35 COR received 19 ayes, 0 nays, 14 excused. Resolution number 22-35 COR is duly passed by this body. Congratulations. Colleagues, there are no other business in the third reading file and no business in the voting file. We are now on agenda item number 18 for brief extension of remarks. Are there any representatives wishing to be recognized for brief extension of remarks? Representative Balbasho of Haggett, you are recognized.
Happy day and good after morning, members of the 35th Guam Youth Congress and everyone watching. I just want to congratulate the new representative, Angulo, from Guam High School for being elected and making the right decision to serve with integrity, honor, dignity, compassion, and professionalism to advocate for our community and your respective schools. I wish him the very best in his duties this year. On behalf of the JROTC cadets participating in the All-Island Drill Team competition, which are the color guard, armed and unarmed, performing both regulation and exhibition. I just want to say that you all did a great job in the techniques, and you've been putting effort into practices as you cadets strive to do your best and aiming strong for your team's goals and expectations. I really love supporting you guys and continuing practicing for off-island, as this will give cadets the opportunity to earn an award, but greater as it gets. Win for your team, and I just want to also congratulate Simon Sanchez Sharks Battalion for winning the overall island-wide drill team competition of school year 2025-2026. Biba JRTC and Biba Simon. Thank you, and si Juos Masi.
Thank you. Representative Balbasho of Haggett. Are there any other representatives? Vice Speaker Toigui of Tamuning Tumon Harmon, you're recognized.
Jesus Masi, Mr. Speaker, I would just like to invite all my colleagues and the people watching on the live stream today down to the Tamuning Mayor's Office Park, located right behind the Tamuning Mayor's Office, for their annual 14th Annual Peace Festival. It is starting from 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. tonight. There will be various vendors, entertainment, and just come on out to celebrate this wonderful festival. Jesus Masi, Mr. Speaker.
Jusmasi, indeed, Vice Speaker Toigui, thank you. Are there any other representatives wishing to speak for a brief extension of remarks? Brief extension of remarks. Well, I'll take the opportunity. I know some of our colleagues who are not present here today are at the Junior Achievement Company of the Year Award event that is going on somewhere some part of the island, one of the malls, I think. But yes, please support your colleagues. They are, this is their final competition. This is the final event of the year. And so we're excited to see more of them at the next session, that for sure. With no other representatives wishing to deliver brief extension of remarks, we are now on agenda item number 19, announcements. Are there any representatives wishing to share an announcement? I know members of the Committee on Rules are wishing to make an announcement, so I will recognize the members of the Committee on Rules to announce the membership of their respective committees. Who would like to go first? Representative Teodosio, you are recognized on the membership of your committee, the Committee on Workforce and Economic Development, Higher Education, and Labor.
Thank you for that recognition, Speaker Fortuno. In addition to myself as the chairperson for the Committee on Workforce and Economic Development, Higher Education, and Labor, Representative Grace Sandela Cruz will be serving as my vice chairperson, and along with the membership includes Representative or Secretary Guerrero, Representative of St. John School, Representative Sharfers, Floor Leader Paz, and Representative Poblete. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairperson Teodosio. Any other chairpersons wishing to announce the membership? Vice Speaker Atoygui from the Committee on Education and Youth Affairs.
Sizos Masi, Mr. Speaker. In the Committee on Education and Youth Affairs, with myself as a chairperson, my vice chairperson, Representative Grace Ann Dela Cruz, Representative Charlie Balbostro, Representative Yaxon Liu, Representative Sofia Leon Guerreros, Representative Kaden Poblete, Representative Siana Santos, Representative Haley Fernandez, Representative Kirsten Cruz, and Representative Micah Imbat.
Sujusmasi, Mr. Vice Speaker. Representative Dela Cruz is absent, so she will not be able to profess the members of her committee. So I'll go ahead and recognize Secretary Guerrero on the Committee on the Judiciary and Justice.
Sujusmasi, Mr. Speaker. The members of the Committee on Judiciary and Justice as follows. Myself as chairperson of the committee, Floor Leader Paz as my vice chair for the committee, Vice Speaker Atoygui, Representative Teodosio, Representative Fernandez, Representative Kalimlim, Representative Imbat, Representative Manabusan, as well as Speaker Fortuno as part of all standing committees of the Guam Youth Congress. And I'd also just like to make an announcement that I do have 3 open slots left in my committee for any representatives wishing to be part of the Committee on the Judiciary and Justice. Sujusmasi.
Thank you, Secretary Guerrero. From the Committee on the Judiciary and Justice. Representative O is not present at the moment, so she won't be able to indicate the members of her committee. So I will now go call upon Floor Leader Paz for the Committee on Utilities, Transportation, and Infrastructure.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. So regarding the Committee on Utilities, Infrastructure, and Transportation, I'm Floor Leader Paz, and I'm the chairperson of this committee. Representative Haley Fernandez is serving as my vice chairperson. And the following representatives are members in this committee. So we have one moment. We have Speaker Fortuno, Representative Poblete, Representative Santos, Representative Kalimlim, Representative Imbat, Secretary Guerrero, Representative Camacho, and Representative Alcairo. And there is still 1 open vacancy in this committee. If any of my fellow representatives are interested, please send me a message.
Sujusmasi, Floor Leader Paz from the Committee on Utilities, Infrastructure, and Transportation. Representative Kalimlim from the Committee on Chamorro Language, Culture, and Decolonization.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. For the Committee on Chamorro Language, Culture, and Decolonization, I'm Jordan Kalimlim, and I'm serving as the chair. My vice speaker is Representative Jichin Yang, Representative Micah Imbat, Representative Haley Fernandez, Representative Anthony Charfers, Representative Devin Santos, Representative Kenan Poblete, Vice Speaker Trevin Atoygui, Speaker Austin Fortuno, Representative Aaron Suba, Representative Akira Munoz, and Representative Brilene Rosario.
Sujusmasi, Representative Kalimlim, his committee is full, so unfortunately he can't join his committee. Representative Kim is not present from the Committee on Appropriations, Taxation, and General Government Operations, but I believe she has 5 vacancies in her committee. And myself from the Committee on Law Enforcement, Emergency Management, and Federal Military and Regional Affairs. I myself serve as the chairperson. Representative Anthony Charfers of Manilao serves as my vice chairperson. Floor Leader Paz is a member, as well as Secretary Guerrero, Vice Speaker Toigui, Representative Manabusin of Teton High School, Representative Suba of John F. Kennedy High School, Representative Rosario of Business and Technology Charter School, Representative Suh of St. John's School, and Representative Blas of Chalampago Ordot, and Representative Alexander Cruz of Father Dueñas Memorial School. And that concludes the announcements from the committee chairpersons. If you are not yet in a committee, please join a committee, especially for the new representatives that have joined. Last announcement on my part, the next call to session is going to be on Saturday, February 21st at 9 a.m. Keep that in mind. February 21st, Saturday, at 9 a.m. so that you can enjoy your following Saturday, which is a 3-day weekend, okay? So remember, we are gonna go back into session tentatively on Saturday, February 21st, 2026. At this time, with no other announcements from the representatives, I will recognize Mr. Floor Leader on a very critical motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, at this time, I move to adjourn the second regular session of the 35th Guam Youth Congress, subject to call of the Speaker.
Mr. Floor Leader, there has been a motion to adjourn this second regular session of the 35th Guam Youth Congress, subject to the call of the Speaker. Are there any objections? Hearing or seeing none, the motion is carried. This session of the 35th Guam Youth Congress is hereby adjourned, subject to the call of the Speaker.